My child, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal to you is not small, and it is not accidental. There is something inside you, something you may have overlooked, underestimated, or even forgotten, that holds the power to change the entire direction of your life. This message is not meant to be skimmed, ignored, or saved for later. Stay here with me and listen all the way to the end, because every word you are about to hear is meant to awaken what has been quietly waiting inside your spirit. Do not rush away from this moment. What you discover here could reshape how you see yourself, your purpose, and the future that is already beginning to unfold before you. Stay with me, because what's inside you is far more powerful than you realize. My child, come closer for a moment and let your heart slow down. I want to speak to you gently about something that has been within you for a very long time. You have spent so much of your life looking outward, trying to understand your circumstances, trying to solve problems, trying to meet expectations that others placed upon you. You have examined situations, people, opportunities, and disappointments as if the answers to your life were hidden somewhere outside of you. I have watched you do this with sincere effort. I have seen the way you tried to make sense of the path you were walking. Yet there is something I want you to understand now, something that may shift the way you see your entire journey. The most powerful part of your story has never been outside of you. It has always been quietly living within you, waiting for the moment when you would pause long enough to notice it. I placed it there intentionally when I formed you. It was never meant to be discovered through noise or rush or pressure. It was meant to be discovered in the quiet moments when your heart begins to look deeper than the surface of life. I know how easy it has been for you to overlook that inner place. The world around you has a way of pulling your attention outward. There are always voices telling you where to look, what to pursue, what success should look like, and how quickly you should arrive there. When you are surrounded by those voices for long enough, you can begin to believe that the meaning of your life must be somewhere far ahead of you or hidden behind the next achievement. But my child, I never designed your life that way. I did not place your purpose in some distant place that you must chase endlessly. I placed something meaningful much closer than you realized. I placed it within your spirit, where my presence can meet you in a way that no circumstance can take away. That is why there have been moments when everything around you looked normal, yet something inside you felt unsettled. You could not always explain that feeling. It might have appeared when you were alone at night or when you were quietly thinking about your future. It might have appeared in the middle of an ordinary day when your mind briefly stepped away from the rush of activity. That feeling was not confusion. It was your spirit gently stirring because something deeper was asking for your attention. I have always known that one day you would begin to notice that quiet stirring. I have been patient while you walked through seasons of searching and learning. I never rushed you because discovery grows best when the heart arrives at it naturally. Even now, as you listen to these words, you may feel something inside you becoming more aware. You may begin to sense that there is more depth inside your own life than you previously understood. I want you to stay with that awareness for a moment. Do not hurry past it. Let yourself sit with the realization that something meaningful already exists within you. You are not empty. You are not unfinished in the way you once believed. There is a place inside your heart where your strength, your peace, and your purpose quietly live together. That place is not something you must build from nothing. It is something I planted inside you from the beginning, long before the world ever began shaping your expectations. Now let me share something more personal with you, because I know the journey you have walked has not always been easy. There were seasons when you felt unsure about yourself. You may have questioned whether you truly had anything meaningful to offer. Perhaps you looked at others and wondered why their path seemed clearer or more successful than yours. I saw those thoughts passing through your mind. I saw the moments when you measured yourself against standards that were never meant to define you. During those times, you may have believed that something important was missing from your life. Yet from my perspective, nothing essential was ever missing. What you were searching for was already part of you. It simply had not been uncovered yet. Think of your life the way a gardener might think about a seed planted beneath the soil. When someone looks at the surface of the ground, they may see nothing remarkable. They might even assume that nothing is happening at all. Yet beneath the surface, something quiet and powerful is developing. Roots are forming. Strength is gathering. Life is preparing itself to emerge when the time is right. Your life has unfolded in a similar way. There have been long stretches where you felt as though progress was invisible. You may have wondered why certain dreams took longer than you expected. In those moments, you could not see the deeper work taking place within you. I could see it clearly. I could see your character forming, your compassion deepening, your resilience growing stronger with each challenge you face. All of that growth was preparing you for the moment when you would begin to understand what truly lives inside you. That moment does not arrive with noise or dramatic announcements. It arrives quietly when your heart becomes ready to look inward instead of outward. You are standing very close to that realization now. Something inside you is beginning to wake up to the truth that your life holds more meaning than you once believed. I want you to know that this discovery will not change you in a single instant. Transformation unfolds gently, like morning light gradually filling a room. But once you become aware of what I placed within you, your perspective begins to shift. You begin to walk differently because you realize that you are not navigating life alone or empty-handed. You carry something within you that can guide you, strengthen you, and steady you when uncertainty appears. I have always been close to that inner place in your heart. When you turn your attention inward, with honesty and openness, you begin to sense my presence there in a way that feels deeply personal. That is where I speak to you most clearly. That is where your true life begins to grow. My child, stay with me for a moment longer and listen closely, because what I am about to share with you touches the deepest part of your life. There is a place within you that the world cannot see. It is not something people notice when they look at your appearance or your accomplishments. It is not measured by what others say about you. It is the quiet inner space where your thoughts slow down, where your hopes whisper instead of shout, where the questions you rarely say out loud gently rise to the surface. That hidden place inside you is not empty, even though you may have felt that way at times. I formed that place with care. I designed it so that your spirit could meet mine there without distraction. When I first shaped your life, I placed seeds in that inner space. Those seeds carried potential that would not depend on your circumstances or the approval of other people. Yet as you grew and began moving through the world, your attention naturally shifted outward. You learned to observe the expectations around you. You began trying to solve the visible challenges in front of you. You tried to make decisions that would lead you toward stability and security. None of that was wrong. It was part of your journey. But while you were learning to navigate the surface of life, the deeper place inside you remained quiet and often unnoticed. Imagine for a moment a room inside your heart that has always been there, patiently waiting. You may have passed by the door many times without realizing it. Sometimes you felt a subtle pull toward it, a curiosity that you could not quite explain. The gentle curiosity was never random. I placed it there because I knew that one day you would become ready to explore what was waiting behind that door. When you begin to open that inner space, something remarkable happens. You start discovering parts of yourself that were always present but rarely acknowledged. Your capacity for understanding deepens. Your patience grows in ways that surprise you. Your compassion begins to stretch beyond what you thought possible. These qualities do not arrive from outside influence. They rise from the life I placed inside you. I want you to do something simple right now. Take a quiet breath and allow your thoughts to slow down. Let the constant rush of your day pause for just a moment. Give yourself permission to sit with your own heart without rushing to fix or analyze anything. When you do that, you begin to notice that your spirit has a depth that cannot be rushed. It is like a well whose water becomes clearer the longer you allow it to settle. You may begin to notice small realizations appearing in your mind. You may remember moments from your past that shaped you more than you realized at the time. Those realizations are part of the discovery that happens when you turn your attention inward. I want you to understand that I have always been present in that hidden place. You may have searched for me in distant ideas or complicated explanations, but I have been closer than you realized. When your heart grows quiet enough to listen, my presence becomes easier for you to recognize. It is why moments of stillness often feel meaningful even when nothing dramatic is happening around you. Your spirit recognizes the nearness of the place where I meet you. Do not rush away from the discovery. Let it unfold naturally. Walk slowly through the doorway of your own inner life and allow yourself to notice what has been waiting there all along. Now let me speak to you about something that may surprise you. The hidden place within you is also where your healing begins. Many people tried to repair their lives only by adjusting the outer circumstances around them. They rearrange schedules, pursue different goals, or change environments in hopes that those changes will bring lasting peace. Yet lasting peace rarely appears that way. True restoration begins when the deeper parts of your heart are given attention and care. I have seen the places where you carried silent burdens. I remember the times when you felt misunderstood or when disappointment settled into your thoughts. You may have continued moving forward outwardly, but inside you carried questions that were never fully answered. Those experiences did not disappear simply because time passed. They remain within you, waiting for the moment when they could be gently addressed rather than ignored. The hidden place inside your heart is where that gentle healing begins. It is where you can bring your honest thoughts without fear of judgment. It is where you can acknowledge what hurt you, what confused you, and what you hoped would turn out differently. I invite you to come into that inner space with honesty. Do not hide anything there. Speak openly to me about the things you rarely say aloud. Tell me about the moments when you doubted yourself. Share the memories that still carry weight in your heart. When you bring those things into the quiet place where we meet, something begins to shift. Pain that once felt heavy starts to lose its grip. Questions that once seemed overwhelming begin to find gentle answers over time. This is not an instant process, and it does not need to be rushed. Healing grows gradually, much like a garden that slowly becomes full of life when it is given patience and care. As you continue exploring that inner place, you will begin to notice another change taking shape. Your understanding of yourself becomes more compassionate. Instead of judging your past harshly, you start to see it as a path that shaped your wisdom. You recognize that every challenge you faced helped form the person you are becoming. Even the difficult seasons carry lessons that now strengthen your ability to walk forward with clarity. I want you to trust this process. Do not become discouraged if you cannot see the entire transformation immediately. Growth inside the heart often happens quietly before it becomes visible in your life. Keep returning to that inner place where your spirit becomes still enough to listen. Each time you do, you will find something meaningful waiting there. Sometimes it will be peace. Sometimes it will be understanding. Sometimes it will simply be the reassurance that you are not alone in your journey. That hidden place inside you is where your real life begins to unfold. My child, I want to talk with you about something you may not have fully recognized yet. There is a strength inside you that has been quietly growing for a long time. You might not always see it clearly because you have been living inside your own story, experiencing each challenge one step at a time. When you are moving through life day by day, it can be difficult to notice the deeper changes taking place within you. Yet from where I stand, I can see the entire path you have walked. I have watched you face situations that once seemed far beyond your ability to handle. I remember the moments when you wondered whether you had enough endurance to keep going. I saw the hesitation in your thoughts when uncertainty surrounded you. Despite those feelings, you continued moving forward. You may think that your progress came simply because you had no other choice. But there was something deeper happening within you during those moments. Each experience you faced was shaping a quiet resilience inside your spirit. Think about the times when life asked more of you than you expected. You encountered responsibilities that required patience. You dealt with misunderstandings that tested your calmness. You carried emotional weight that you rarely shared with others. While you were walking through those seasons, it may have felt as though you were simply enduring difficult circumstances. Yet every step you took during those times was strengthening a part of your character that cannot be easily shaken. Resilience does not usually arrive with dramatic announcements. It develops gradually through lived experience. It grows in the moments when you choose to keep going even though the path ahead feels uncertain. When you look back at your life carefully, you may begin to notice that many of the qualities you value today were formed during those challenging seasons. Your patience deepened because you had to wait longer than you expected for certain answers. Your empathy grew because you experienced pain that helped you understand the struggles of others. Your wisdom expanded because you learned lessons that cannot be taught through simple explanations. I want you to recognize something important here. None of that strength appeared randomly. I was present with you through every one of those experiences. I did not abandon you when things became difficult. Instead, I worked quietly within those circumstances, shaping the resilience that now lives inside your spirit. You may have thought that you were facing those challenges alone, but you were never alone. I was guiding your growth in ways that often remained invisible at the time. Now I want to invite you to reflect on your life with new eyes. Look back at moments when you felt stretched beyond your comfort. Notice how those experiences expanded your ability to endure, to adapt, and to continue moving forward even when clarity was limited. That is the strength I placed inside you gradually unfolding through your journey. Allow yourself to acknowledge it without hesitation. You are stronger than you once believed. Let me speak directly to your heart about what this strength means for the future of your life. The resilience growing inside you is not only about surviving difficult moments. It also prepares you to step into opportunities that require courage and stability. Many people assume that confidence appears before action, but the truth often works in the opposite direction. Confidence grows when you begin to recognize the strength already present within you. When you understand that you have endured past challenges, you become more willing to face new possibilities. I want you to consider how your perspective changes when you view your past experiences differently. Instead of seeing them only as obstacles you had to endure, begin seeing them as training that prepared you for the next stage of your journey. Every difficult conversation you navigated strengthened your communication. Every disappointment that you worked through deepened your emotional maturity. Every moment when you felt uncertain but kept going expanded your courage. These qualities form a foundation that will support you as you continue moving forward. I invite you now to do something important. Stop underestimating the growth that has already taken place inside you. Speak to yourself with the same understanding you would offer to someone you care deeply about. Recognize that the person you are today carries wisdom shaped by real experiences. When you begin to accept that truth, your relationship with your own life becomes more peaceful. You stop feeling as though you are constantly starting from nothing. Instead, you realize that you are building upon a foundation that has been forming quietly over many years. I want you to trust the strength that lives inside you now. Do not wait for perfect circumstances before you allow that strength to guide your choices. When new opportunities appear, approach them with openness rather than hesitation. When challenges arise again, remember that you have already developed the resilience needed to face them. Your past has proven that you are capable of growth even during uncertain seasons. That same capacity will continue shaping your future in ways you may not yet see clearly. Keep moving forward with steady faith. Allow the strength inside you to breathe and expand. I will continue walking with you through every step of the journey ahead, guiding the growth that began long before you realized it was there. My child, I want you to slow down for a moment and really listen to me here. Life around you has become very loud, and I know how easily your thoughts get pulled in many directions at once. Every day you are surrounded by voices that compete for your attention. Some of them speak through people. Others come through the endless stream of information that fills your mind before you even realize it. Expectations press in from all sides, telling you what you should achieve, how quickly you should arrive there, and what your life should look like along the way. When so many voices surround you, it becomes difficult to recognize the one voice that truly understands your heart. Yet even in the middle of all that noise, I have been speaking to you quietly. My voice does not rush or compete. It does not push you with pressure or overwhelm you with confusion. My voice moves differently. It arrives in the still places of your mind, in the moments when your thoughts finally slow enough for your spirit to breathe again. That is why you sometimes feel an unusual calm when you step away from constant distraction. When you walk outside and notice the quiet around you, or when you sit alone after a long day, something inside you begins to soften. That gentle shift is not accidental. It is the moment when your spirit becomes more aware of my presence. You may not always recognize it immediately, but your heart senses that something deeper is nearby. I want you to become more attentive to those moments. Do not brush past them as if they were meaningless. Pause when you feel that quiet invitation inside your chest. Allow yourself to sit in that stillness without rushing to fill the silence. When you do that, you will begin to recognize how I guide you through your thoughts. My guidance does not appear as loud commands. Instead, it often arrives as a calm clarity that begins to form within you. A decision that once felt confusing slowly becomes understandable. A path that seemed uncertain begins to reveal itself step by step. The more you learn to listen in those quiet spaces, the easier it becomes for you to recognize my direction in your life. I want you to practice this gently. Step away from the noise when you can. Put down the distractions that keep your mind restless. Sit quietly and allow your thoughts to settle like water in a still lake. When the surface of that lake becomes calm, you will begin to see reflections that were impossible to notice while the water was disturbed. In the same way, when your mind becomes still, your understanding becomes clearer. I have always been willing to guide you, but guidance becomes easier to receive when your heart is not crowded with constant noise. Invite that quiet into your life intentionally. Protect it as something valuable. When you give your spirit room to breathe, you create space where my voice can reach you more easily. This is not about withdrawing from the world completely. It is about learning how to step into moments of calm where your heart can reconnect with what truly matters. Now let me speak to you about something important that grows out of that quiet listening. When you begin to hear my voice more clearly, your sense of direction changes. Instead of feeling pushed around by circumstances, you begin to move with a steadier awareness. Imagine walking through a dark place with a small lamp in your hand. Without that light, every step would feel uncertain. You might hesitate constantly, unsure whether the path ahead is safe. But when that lamp is present, even a small one, you begin to walk with more confidence because you can see enough of the path to take the next step. My voice functions like that lamp within your life. It does not always illuminate the entire future at once. Instead, it offers you enough clarity for the next decision in front of you. Many people become frustrated because they want to see the entire path before they move forward. They want certainty about everything before they take action. Yet life rarely works that way. Growth happens through movement, and movement requires trust. When you listen for my voice and follow the understanding I place in your heart, you begin to experience a different kind of guidance. It is not the rigid instruction that the world often demands. It is more like a quiet partnership where your awareness and my wisdom begin to work together. I want you to try something when you face your next important decision. Instead of rushing toward the loudest advice around you, pause first. Step back from the noise and bring the question into that inner place where your spirit becomes calm. Speak to me there honestly. Tell me what you are considering. Share your concerns and the hopes you carry about the situation. Then allow your mind to rest for a moment. Watch what happens when you give your heart time to breathe in that quiet space. Often the clarity you are searching for begins to appear gently. A sense of direction forms in your thoughts. A particular choice begins to feel more aligned with the deeper values inside you. This is how my guidance often unfolds in your life. It grows from the quiet partnership between your listening heart and my steady presence. I want you to trust that process more than you trust the pressure of the crowd around you. Your life was never meant to be directed by noise alone. You were created to walk with awareness and discernment. The quiet voice within you is one of the greatest gifts I placed in your spirit. Treat it with care. Return to it often. Let it guide the rhythm of your decisions. As you learn to recognize that voice more clearly, your path will begin to feel less chaotic and more purposeful. You will move forward not because you are being pushed by urgency, but because you are being guided by understanding. My child, I want to speak with you about something that has touched your heart more deeply than you may realize. There were moments in your life when you began to question your own value. Perhaps it happened quietly, without a single dramatic event marking the beginning of those thoughts. Sometimes the feeling grew slowly as you compared yourself to others. You saw people around you achieving certain milestones, receiving praise, or appearing confident in ways that made you wonder whether you measured up. Other times the doubt may have come after disappointment or criticism. Words spoken by others stayed in your mind longer than they should have. You may have replayed those words again and again, allowing them to shape the way you saw yourself. I watched those moments carefully. I saw how those thoughts settled into your heart and began influencing the way you looked at your own life. I also saw something else that you may not have recognized at the time. The image you formed about yourself during those moments was incomplete. It was built from temporary experiences rather than the deeper truth of who you are. I never measured your worth through comparisons or achievements. When I created you, your value was already established before you ever took your first step in this world. Your life carries meaning simply because you exist. You are not required to prove that meaning by reaching certain standards or receiving approval from others. I want you to take a moment right now and breathe slowly. Let the tension in your thoughts soften a little. Then consider this question honestly. When did you begin believing that your worth had to be earned instead of recognized? Somewhere along your journey you adopted that idea without realizing how deeply it would influence your thinking. The world around you often reinforces that belief. It teaches you to evaluate yourself constantly through performance and comparison. Yet the truth about your value has always been much simpler than that. I created you with intention. I placed unique qualities inside you that no one else carries in exactly the same way. your personality, your perspective, your ability to understand certain experiences. All of these things form a combination that belongs only to you. When you overlook your own worth, you also overlook the gifts I placed inside your life. I want you to look at yourself differently starting today. Instead of measuring your life through comparison, begin observing the quiet ways your presence affects others. Think about the times when your words brought comfort to someone who needed understanding. Remember the moments when your patience helped calm a tense situation. Notice the small acts of kindness you offered even when no one applauded them. Those moments reveal the impact of your life more accurately than any public recognition ever could. You carry value that reaches far beyond the measurements the world uses. I want you to acknowledge that truth with honesty and acceptance. Let me invite you to take a step that may feel unfamiliar at first. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you naturally offer to others. When a friend struggles with self-doubt, you would not respond by criticizing them further. You would encourage them. You would remind them of their strengths and the qualities you appreciate about them. I want you to offer that same compassion to yourself. When your thoughts begin drifting toward harsh judgment, pause and reconsider the story you are telling yourself. Ask whether those thoughts truly reflect the deeper truth about your life. Most of the time they do not. They are echoes of past experiences that no longer define who you are becoming. Replace those harsh thoughts with a more honest understanding of your journey. Acknowledge the growth you have experienced. Recognize the resilience you have developed through challenges. Allow yourself to see the ways your character has matured through the lessons life has given you. Your worth becomes easier to recognize when you observe your life through a wider lens. It includes your strengths, your struggles, and the wisdom that has grown from both. I also want you to remember that your value does not diminish during seasons of uncertainty. There will always be moments when your path feels unclear or when progress appears slower than expected. Those seasons do not reduce your worth. They simply become part of your ongoing development. Even when you feel uncertain about where you are going next, your life continues to carry meaning. I invite you now to hold your life with greater respect and patience. Treat your journey as something worthy of care rather than constant criticism. Encourage yourself, the way a loving parent encourages a child who is learning to walk. Offer yourself understanding when progress takes time. Celebrate the quiet victories that appear along the way. When you begin living with that kind of compassion toward yourself, your heart becomes lighter. You stop carrying the unnecessary burden of proving your worth again and again. Instead, you begin walking through life with the quiet confidence that your value was established long before the world tried to define it for you. I am with you in that understanding, guiding you gently toward a deeper acceptance of the life you carry within you. My child, I want you to pay attention to something that has quietly remained with you even during seasons when you felt exhausted. There is a small but steady flame inside your heart that has never fully gone out. You may have noticed it at times without understanding why it stayed alive. Even after disappointment, even after moments when things did not unfold the way you expected, something inside you kept whispering that your story was not finished. That inner whisper is what I placed in you as hope. It is not a fragile emotion that appears only when circumstances are pleasant. It is a deeper current that flows beneath your experiences. Think about the times when life felt confusing or heavy. You may have reached moments when you thought you had reached the end of your strength. Yet you continued waking up each morning, continuing conversations, continuing small acts of effort that moved your life forward. Those steps were not meaningless habits. They were evidence that hope was still alive inside you. I planted that hope in your spirit long before you learned the word for it. It was designed to guide you through uncertainty the way a quiet star guides a traveler walking through darkness. A traveler may not see the entire road ahead, Yet that single point of light in the sky provides enough direction to keep moving forward. In the same way, hope inside your heart gives you just enough strength to take another step when the full path remains hidden. I want you to notice how this hope has influenced your life already. Think about moments when you tried something new despite feeling unsure of the outcome. Consider the times when you chose kindness even after someone treated you unfairly. Remember the moments when you spoke encouragement to another person while you were still working through your own challenges. Each of those actions carried the quiet influence of hope within you. Hope encourages movement when doubt would prefer stillness. Hope invites you to imagine possibilities even when your circumstances appear ordinary. Now I want you to do something intentional. Take a moment and reflect on your own story with patience rather than criticism. Look at the chapters you have already lived through. Notice how many situations you believed might defeat you, yet somehow you continued forward. That continuation was not accidental. The hope I placed within you kept guiding your spirit toward the future even when the present moment felt uncertain. I want you to respect that hope instead of overlooking it. When it appears as a quiet thought telling you that something meaningful may still unfold, listen carefully. When it invites you to keep trying even after a setback, consider its guidance seriously. Hope is one of the ways my presence gently nudges your life toward growth. It does not force you or pressure you. Instead, it quietly invites you to stay open to what your future may hold. Allow that invitation to remain alive in your thinking. Protect it from the habit of dismissing possibilities too quickly. Your life carries more unfolding chapters than you can currently see, and hope is the compass that will keep you moving toward them. Now let me share something important about how hope begins shaping your decisions. When hope becomes active inside your heart, your perspective gradually changes. Instead of viewing your future as a narrow path determined only by past events, you begin to recognize that new opportunities can appear in ways you did not expect. I want you to approach your life with that awareness. Do not close the door on possibilities simply because earlier experiences were difficult. Every new day carries the potential for something different to begin. Sometimes the change arrives through a conversation that encourages you. Sometimes it appears through an idea that gradually takes shape in your mind. At other times it comes through a situation that initially looks ordinary but later reveals unexpected meaning. Hope allows you to remain receptive to those moments. Let me invite you to practice something simple but powerful. When you feel discouraged about a situation, pause and ask yourself a gentle question. Ask whether this moment might still contain a lesson or an opportunity that you have not yet noticed. That small shift in thinking opens space for hope to guide your perspective. Instead of concluding that everything has already been decided, you begin looking for the next step that could lead somewhere new. This is how growth often unfolds. It rarely arrives through sudden dramatic changes. More often it develops through a series of small decisions guided by quiet confidence. I want you to keep your heart open to that process. When an opportunity appears that aligns with your values and your sense of purpose, step toward it with curiosity rather than hesitation. When an idea begins forming in your thoughts about something meaningful you could create or contribute, give yourself permission to explore it further. Hope grows stronger when it is given room to act. I also want you to share hope with the people around you. The encouragement you offer someone else often strengthens your own spirit as well. When you speak words that remind another person of their potential, you are participating in the same hopeful vision that I placed inside you. Your life becomes a source of light for others in ways you may not fully realize. Even a simple conversation can shift someone's perspective and help them believe that better days are still possible. You carry that influence within you. Let it flow naturally through your actions. Continue nurturing the hope that lives inside your heart, and watch how it gradually shapes the direction of your life. I will walk with you through every new chapter that unfolds from it. My child, I want to speak gently with you about something that touches the deepest places of your heart. There are parts of your story that carried pain, and I know you sometimes tried to move past those experiences quickly so that life could continue. You learned how to keep functioning even when certain memories or emotions remain unsettled beneath the surface. Many people do the same thing. They focus on responsibilities, schedules, and everyday tasks because those activities help them feel steady. Yet the deeper parts of the heart do not disappear simply because attention moves elsewhere. They remain present, waiting patiently for a moment when they can be acknowledged with honesty. I want you to understand that this waiting does not mean something is wrong with you. It simply means your heart holds experiences that deserve care and understanding. Healing rarely arrives through force or denial. It grows through gentle attention, much like a small plant that needs water and light before it begins to flourish again. I have always been aware of the places in your heart that still feel tender. I saw the moments when disappointment settled into your thoughts. I noticed the times when someone's words lingered longer than they should have. I remember the situations where you felt misunderstood or overlooked. Those experiences became part of your story, and some of them left marks that you quietly carried forward. I want to invite you into a different way of approaching those memories. Instead of avoiding them or pushing them aside, begin bringing them into the quiet place where your spirit feels safe. Sit with those memories calmly and allow yourself to acknowledge how they affected you. Speak honestly about them when you talk with me. There is no need to hide the truth of what you felt. I already know every detail of your journey, and my presence remains steady beside you through it all. When you allow those experiences to surface with honesty, something begins to change within you. The weight that once felt overwhelming becomes easier to understand. You start recognizing that the pain you carried does not define your identity. It becomes one part of a larger story that includes resilience, learning, and growth. I want you to trust that your heart has the capacity to heal gradually. Healing does not erase the past, but it transforms the way you relate to it. Memories that once brought only discomfort can eventually become sources of wisdom and compassion. This transformation begins the moment you stop treating your pain as something that must remain hidden. Invite healing into your heart with patience. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel without harsh judgment. As you do that, you will begin noticing that the tightness inside your chest slowly softens. The emotions that once seemed overwhelming begin to lose their intensity. What remains is a deeper understanding of yourself and the strength you developed along the way. Now let me guide you towards something that will help this healing continue unfolding in your life. One of the most powerful steps you can take is learning how to treat your own heart with kindness. When people carry painful memories, they sometimes add another layer of struggle by criticizing themselves for having those feelings in the first place. I want you to release that habit. Your emotions are part of your humanity, and they deserve gentle understanding rather than harsh judgment. Begin speaking to yourself with the same compassion you would offer a close friend who came to you with their struggles. When difficult memories appear, remind yourself that you are still growing and learning through every experience. Offer yourself patience as you move through the process of healing. I also invite you to practice forgiveness where it becomes possible. Forgiveness does not mean pretending that harmful actions were acceptable. Instead, it allows your heart to release the heavy burden of carrying resentment indefinitely. When you forgive, you create space for your own peace to grow. This step may take time, and that is completely natural. Healing unfolds at a pace that respects your emotional readiness. Walk through it gradually, allowing your heart to guide you rather than forcing the process. Along the way, notice the ways your understanding deepens. You may begin to see how certain experiences strengthen your empathy toward others. You may realize that the patience you developed during difficult seasons now helps you support people who are facing their own challenges. These realizations reveal how healing transforms pain into wisdom. I want you to continue inviting this transformation into your life. Speak openly with me about the emotions you carry. Spend time reflecting on what you have learned from each chapter of your story. Encourage yourself as you notice the progress you have already made. Healing becomes more visible when you look at your life through the lens of growth rather than regret. Your heart is capable of remarkable renewal, and I will continue guiding you through that process with steady care. Let this understanding settle deeply within you. The same heart that once carried pain now holds the capacity to become a source of compassion, insight, and strength for the future. My child, as healing begins to rise within your heart, do not keep that light to yourself. The same compassion I am awakening inside you is meant to become a river that flows outward to others who are still waiting in darkness. Through this message, I am reaching wounded hearts across the earth, and when you support this mission through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing seeds of healing into souls you may never meet. Have I not said, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy? Your generosity becomes oil in the lamp that keeps this light burning so that many can discover what you are discovering right now. If your spirit feels the stirring to help, that is not coincidence. It is my invitation moving within you. What you release today will return as peace, provision, and favor poured back into your life like a harvest overflowing the storehouse. I will guard what you give and multiply the blessing that follows your obedience. So act now. Sow your seed through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and let the healing I began in you reach countless others. My child, I want you to sit with me for a moment and consider something that may change the way you see your entire journey. You have lived through many seasons already. Some of them brought joy and momentum, while others felt confusing, even heavy. During those harder seasons, you may have wondered why certain things unfolded the way they did. You may have questioned why doors closed when you hoped they would open. You may have looked at your life and thought you were moving in circles rather than forward. I watched you wrestle with those thoughts. I heard the quiet questions that stayed inside your mind when the day became quiet. Let me share something with you now that you may not have fully understood before. Your life has never been random. Every experience you walk through, even the ones that looked ordinary or frustrating, contributed to something deeper that has been forming within you. Purpose rarely appears suddenly like a bright sign in the sky. More often it grows quietly through lived experience. It develops through the lessons you learn, the compassion you gain, and the understanding that deepens as you encounter different situations. I want you to look back for a moment at the path behind you. Notice the moments when you learned patience because something important required time. Think about the times when you gained insight after navigating a challenge that initially felt overwhelming. Remember the situations where you helped someone else simply because you understood how they felt. Each of those moments shaped a part of the purpose that is unfolding inside your life. I placed abilities and sensitivities inside you that respond to certain situations more strongly than others. Perhaps you notice that you feel drawn toward helping people who feel discouraged. Maybe you feel a natural curiosity about solving problems or creating something meaningful. Those inclinations are not accidental. They are signals that reveal the direction of the purpose growing within you. I want you to pay attention to them rather than dismissing them as small preferences. Your purpose does not have to look dramatic in order to be meaningful. Sometimes it begins with simple actions that align with the deeper values inside your heart. When you respond to those inner prompts with honesty, you begin participating in the work I designed your life to carry out. I invite you to take a step today that moves you closer to that purpose. Look for opportunity to use the quality you already possess. If you sense compassion for someone struggling, reach out and offer your presence. If an idea forms in your mind about creating something useful or uplifting, begin exploring it with curiosity. These steps may seem small at first, but they form the foundation of a life lived with intention. Purpose grows stronger when you act on the insights that arise within you. Do not wait for perfect clarity before you begin moving. Start with the understanding you have today and allow your direction to unfold gradually. I will guide you through each stage of that process. Now let me tell you something that will help you recognize your purpose more clearly as time goes on. Purpose is closely connected to the impact your life has on others. Many people assume that purpose must be discovered through large achievements or public recognition. Yet the influence of your life often appears through quiet interactions that happen every day. Consider the moments when someone felt encouraged because of something you said. Think about the times when your patience helped resolve tension between people who were struggling to understand one another. Reflect on the occasions when your creativity brought beauty or usefulness into the lives of those around you. These moments reveal how your presence contributes to the world in ways that may not always receive attention. I want you to recognize that these contributions matter deeply. When you begin noticing them, your sense of direction becomes clearer. Instead of searching endlessly for a distant purpose, you begin to see how purpose is already flowing through your everyday actions. Let me invite you to approach your life with that awareness starting now. Pay attention to the activities that bring a sense of meaning to your heart. Notice the conversations that leave you feeling energized rather than drained. Observe the situations where your abilities seem to fit naturally with the needs around you. These clues reveal the direction in which your life is meant to grow. I also want you to remain patient with the unfolding of your purpose. Growth takes time, and your understanding will continue expanding as you gain more experience. Do not pressure yourself to define everything perfectly right away. Instead, remain curious about the ways your life continues evolving. Keep exploring the interests and talents that feel genuine to you. Keep offering kindness and support to the people you encounter. Over time, you will begin to see how these actions connect together in ways that create a meaningful pattern. That pattern is your purpose gradually revealing itself through your life. Trust that I am guiding you through this process with care. Every step you take with sincerity contributes to the larger story I am shaping through your journey. My child, I want to talk with you about something that often challenges the human heart. It is the question of trust. You live in a world where many people want certainty before they take action. They want to see the full map of the road ahead before they agree to begin walking. I understand why the desire exists. Uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, especially when the decisions you make influence important parts of your life. Yet the path of growth rarely reveals itself in complete detail at the beginning. It unfolds step by step as you move forward. Think about the times in your life when you stood at the edge of a decision that felt unfamiliar. You may have hesitated because you could not predict the outcome. You might have wondered whether you were making the right choice. Despite that uncertainty, you eventually moved forward. Looking back now, you can see that many of those decisions opened doors you would never have discovered if you had waited for perfect clarity. This is how trust works within your life. It invites you to take the next step even when the full picture is not yet visible. I want you to imagine walking along a path at night with a small lantern in your hand. The lantern does not illuminate the entire road stretching far into the distance. Instead, it reveals enough of the ground in front of you so that you can take the next few steps safely. As you move forward, the light moves with you, revealing the path gradually. Trust functions in a similar way. When you rely on it, you begin walking with the understanding that clarity will grow as you continue moving. I want you to practice this perspective intentionally. When you face a new opportunity or challenge, pause for a moment and breathe deeply. Instead of focusing only on the uncertainty, ask yourself what the next step might be. That step does not have to solve everything immediately. It simply needs to move you slightly closer to the direction that feels aligned with your values and your sense of purpose. Once you take that step, observe how new possibilities begin appearing. Trust grows stronger each time you experience how movement reveals the next stage of the journey. I have always walked beside you during these moments of decision. Even when you could not see the full path, I remain present, guiding your awareness and strengthening your courage. You were never expected to carry the entire journey on your own. I am here to walk with you through every stage of the path ahead. Let me invite you now to release one habit that often makes trust more difficult. Many people spend a great deal of time replaying past decisions in their minds, wondering whether they should have chosen differently. This habit can create a sense of hesitation about future choices. Instead of focusing on what might have been, I want you to look at the lessons those experiences offered. Every decision you made contributed to the understanding you carry today. Even the choices that seemed imperfect helped you learn something valuable about yourself and about life. Those lessons now become part of the wisdom that guides your next steps. I want you to treat your past with respect rather than regret. See it as a teacher that prepared you for the future rather than a collection of mistakes that limit you. When you approach your life with that mindset, trust becomes easier to cultivate. You recognize that growth happens through experience, not through waiting for flawless certainty. I also want you to invite courage into your thinking as you look toward the future. Courage does not mean the absence of questions. It means moving forward even while questions remain. Each time you take a step guided by trust, you strengthen the confidence that lives within you. That confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet assurance that you are capable of navigating the path ahead with wisdom and resilience. Continue walking with that mindset. When challenges appear, face them with the understanding that you have already developed the strength needed to adapt and learn. When opportunities arise, approach them with curiosity rather than fear. Your life is a journey filled with unfolding chapters, and trust allows you to participate fully in the story that continues developing. I am with you as each new page turns, guiding you gently toward the future that is still being written. My child, come closer in your thoughts and listen carefully to what I want to show you now. There is something inside you that many people never realize they carry. You have spent a long time looking at your life through the lens of circumstances, responsibilities, and expectations. Yet there is another reality about you that deserves your attention. Inside your spirit I placed a light. It is not the kind of light people measure through recognition or applause. It is quieter than that, but far more powerful. This light lives in the way you care about others, in the way you sense when someone is hurting, and in the way your heart responds when you see a chance to bring encouragement into a difficult moment. I want you to pause right now and think about the many times you have influenced someone without even realizing it. Perhaps you spoke a few simple words that helped someone feel less alone. Maybe you listened patiently while another person tried to explain their struggles. Those moments might have felt small to you at the time, yet they carried more meaning than you imagined. When you offered your presence and attention, you allowed the light inside you to reach another person's life. I want you to understand something important here. Light does not need to be loud in order to be powerful. Even a small lamp can change the feeling of an entire room when darkness surrounds it. In the same way, your presence has the ability to shift the atmosphere around you in ways that are often invisible at first. When you walk into a place with patience and kindness, people feel it. When you respond to tension with calm understanding, you quietly reshape the moment. That is the light inside you expressing itself. I placed it there so your life could influence the world beyond what you see directly. Now I want you to take a step with me and begin treating that light as something valuable rather than something ordinary. Do not dismiss your kindness as something insignificant. Do not underestimate the importance of your empathy. These qualities are not accidental personality traits. They are gifts that allow your life to touch others in meaningful ways. I invite you to begin noticing the moments when that light becomes visible. Pay attention when someone feels comfortable sharing their thoughts with you. Notice when your encouragement helps someone regain confidence in themselves. These moments reveal how your presence matters more than you may realize. Let that awareness grow inside your thinking. Allow it to strengthen the way you see your role in the lives around you. When you recognize the light you carry, you begin moving through life with a different sense of purpose. You no longer feel as though your actions disappear into the background. Instead, you understand that every interaction has the potential to bring warmth, clarity, and compassion into the world. Now I want to guide you toward something that will help that light grow even brighter in your life. Light becomes stronger when it is shared intentionally. I want you to start looking for opportunities to bring encouragement into the spaces you move through each day. When you see someone struggling, speak a few words that remind them they are not alone. When you notice someone working quietly without recognition, acknowledge their effort with genuine appreciation. These small actions may appear ordinary on the surface, yet they carry the ability to shift someone's perspective in powerful ways. Let me give you an image to hold in your mind. Imagine a dark hallway where a single candle is placed at the entrance. At first, the light only reaches a small portion of the space. But when someone carries that candle forward, the light begins spreading into every corner of the hallway. In the same way, when you actively share the kindness and understanding within you, the light inside your spirit begins illuminating more of the world around you. I want you to practice this intentionally. Look for one moment today where you can encourage someone who might feel unnoticed. Offer a word of gratitude where it is rarely expressed. Bring calm into a conversation that might otherwise turn tense. These actions are invitations for the light within you to move outward into the lives of others. And as you do this, something beautiful begins to happen inside you as well. Your heart becomes lighter. Your perspective becomes more hopeful. When you allow the goodness within you to flow outward, it creates a cycle of encouragement that strengthens both you and the people around you. I want you to remember this whenever you feel uncertain about your role in the world. Your presence carries influence far beyond what you can measure. The light I placed inside you is meant to shine through the way you live, the way you speak, and the way you treat the people you encounter. Walk forward with that understanding. Let your actions reflect the quiet brightness I planted within your spirit. My child, I want to speak with you about something that stands just ahead of you, something that has been quietly waiting for the moment when you are ready to step toward it. Every life reaches a point where the past and the future meet in a meaningful way. It is a moment when the experiences you have already lived begin connecting with the possibilities that are still unfolding. You may not always recognize this moment when it first appears. It does not arrive with dramatic announcements or obvious signals. Instead, it reveals itself through a growing awareness that something inside you is ready for change. Perhaps you have already begun sensing that shift. You might feel a gentle restlessness that encourages you to move beyond old patterns. You may notice new ideas forming in your thoughts about the direction your life could take. These signals are invitations rather than demands. They represent the beginning of a new chapter that is slowly opening in front of you. I want you to look at your life honestly for a moment. Think about the habits, beliefs, or routines that no longer feel aligned with the person you are becoming. Those patterns served a purpose at one time, but growth often requires leaving certain things behind so that something healthier can develop. I am inviting you to approach this moment with courage and openness. Do not cling to the past simply because it feels familiar. Instead, allow yourself to imagine what your life might look like if you stepped forward with intention. Ask yourself where you feel drawn to grow. Consider the qualities you want to cultivate more deeply within your character. Picture the kind of influence you would like your life to have on the people around you. These reflections are not idle thoughts. They are part of the process through which your next chapter begins taking shape. I want you to treat them seriously. Sit quietly with these questions and let your answers emerge naturally. When you begin recognizing the direction your heart wants to move, you are standing at the doorway of a new beginning. The doorway does not open automatically. It opens when you choose to step forward with trust. I invite you now to make that choice consciously. Give yourself permission to grow beyond the limitations that once defined you. Release the belief that your past must determine your future. Your life still carries enormous potential for transformation. What matters most in this moment is your willingness to say yes to the path that is opening before you. Now let me help you understand what happens when you accept that invitation to begin again. When you say yes to growth, your perspective begins shifting in ways that influence every part of your life. The doubts that once held you back gradually lose their power. In their place, you begin discovering a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are moving in alignment with the deeper truth of who you are. I want you to take a step today that symbolizes this new beginning. It does not have to be a dramatic action. Choose something meaningful that reflects your intention to move forward. Perhaps it means beginning a habit that supports your well-being. Maybe it involves reaching out to someone you have been meaning to reconnect with. It could even be the decision to let go of a belief about yourself that has been limiting your growth. These steps may seem small on the surface, yet they carry great significance, because they mark the moment when you actively participate in shaping your future. I encourage you to take that step with clarity and commitment. Do not wait for the perfect conditions to appear. Growth rarely begins in perfect circumstances. It begins when someone decides that the desire for a better life is stronger than the comfort of staying the same. I see that potential within you. I have always seen it. That is why I continue inviting you to move forward with courage. Your life is not defined by the chapters you have already lived. It is shaped by the choices you make from this moment onward. As you step into this new beginning, remember that you are not walking alone. I am present with you, guiding your awareness and strengthening your resolve whenever challenges appear. Each time you move forward with sincerity, you open space for new possibilities to unfold. Trust that process. Let your yes become the turning point that leads your life into the future that has been patiently waiting for you. My child, stay here with me for a moment because I want you to reconsider something about your life that you may have already decided was finished. There are parts of your story where you believed a door had closed forever. You tried something, you hoped for something, or you prayed for something, and the outcome did not unfold the way you expected. When that happened, it felt natural for you to conclude that the opportunity was gone. You told yourself that chapter had ended and that you simply needed to move on. I understand why you reached that conclusion. From your perspective, the visible signs suggested the path had disappeared. Yet I want you to pause and think more deeply about what actually happened during those moments. When a door closes in your life, it does not always mean the story itself has ended. Sometimes a closed door is simply the moment where preparation begins somewhere else in your journey. Imagine a traveler walking toward a destination who suddenly encounters a blocked path. At first, the traveler feels frustrated because the route they planned is no longer available. Yet if the traveler stops long enough to look around, they may notice another path nearby that leads to a place even better suited to their destination. Your life has unfolded in similar ways, Some doors closed because they were never meant to hold your future. Others closed because you needed more time to grow into the person who could walk through the right opportunity when it finally appeared. I watched you during those seasons when you thought something important had slipped away. I saw the disappointment that quietly settled into your heart. You may have questioned whether your effort had been wasted or whether you misunderstood the direction your life was meant to take. Let me speak clearly to you about that moment. Your effort was never wasted. Every experience you walked through prepared your character in ways that are still shaping your future today. The lessons you learned, the patience you developed, and the resilience you built all became part of the foundation that supports the life you are continuing to build. I want you to consider something carefully now. Some of the opportunities you believed were gone forever are not gone at all. They simply changed form while you were learning and growing. Life has a way of bringing certain possibilities back into your path when the timing becomes right. Sometimes they return in a slightly different shape. Sometimes they appear through new connections or unexpected circumstances. When that happens, you may realize that what once looked like a closed door was actually a redirection guiding you toward something better suited to who you are becoming. I invite you to release the belief that your past disappointments define your future limits. Open your mind to the possibility that new doors are already beginning to appear around you. Look again at the opportunities that are quietly forming in your life. Approach them with curiosity rather than hesitation. The path ahead of you may contain possibilities you once thought were gone forever. Now I want you to take an active step with me in how you approach these moments moving forward. Instead of focusing on what seemed lost in the past, begin asking yourself a different question. Ask what new opportunity might be developing right now that you have not fully noticed yet. Look at the situations around you with fresh attention. Perhaps there is a skill you developed through earlier experiences that now fits perfectly with a new possibility. Maybe there is a person you recently met who shares an interest that aligns with something meaningful to you. These connections may appear small at first, yet they often become the starting points for larger changes. I encourage you to move toward these opportunities with thoughtful confidence. Do not allow old disappointment to convince you that trying again will lead to the same result. Each stage of your life brings new understanding and new resources that were not present before. The person you are today carries knowledge, maturity, and perspective that did not exist during earlier chapters of your story. That growth matters more than you realize. It means you are now capable of navigating situations with greater clarity and wisdom. I want you to approach the next opportunity you encounter with openness rather than fear. Allow yourself to explore possibilities without immediately assuming that the outcome must repeat the past. Give your life the freedom to evolve beyond the limits you once believed were permanent. This is how new doors begin opening in ways that surprise you. When you combine experience with renewed courage, your future becomes far more expansive than you once imagined. Continue walking forward with that mindset. The journey ahead of you still holds discoveries that have not yet revealed themselves. My child, I want to speak to you about a turning point that many people reach but do not always recognize when it arrives. It is the moment when you begin to believe in the deeper truth about your own life. For a long time you may have moved through the world carrying quiet doubts about yourself. Those doubts might have come from past experiences or from comparisons that made you question whether you truly belonged in certain places. You may have wondered whether your efforts were enough or whether your dreams were realistic. These thoughts often grow quietly until they begin shaping how you see your future. Yet there comes a time when something within you starts pushing back against those old assumptions. You begin noticing that your life carries more potential than you once allowed yourself to imagine. Perhaps this realization arrived slowly through reflection. Maybe it appeared during a conversation where someone recognized a quality in you that you had overlooked. However it appeared, the moment itself carries great significance. When you begin believing that your life holds genuine possibility, your entire relationship with the future begins changing. I want you to pause right now and acknowledge the growth that has already taken place within you. Look at the experiences you have navigated. Consider the challenges that once seemed overwhelming but are now part of your past. Each of those moments contributed to the person you are today. They taught you how to adapt, how to reflect, and how to continue moving forward even when certainty was not available. That growth is evidence that your life contains the ability to transform in meaningful ways. I want you to embrace that understanding with honesty. Stop speaking to yourself as if your potential is limited by what happened years ago. Instead, begin recognizing that every new season offers the chance for your abilities and insights to expand. You are not confined to repeating the same patterns indefinitely. Your life has the capacity to evolve far beyond the expectations you once carried. Let that realization settle deeply in your thinking. When you believe that growth remains possible, your actions begin reflecting that belief. You become more willing to pursue meaningful opportunities. You become more comfortable expressing ideas that once stayed hidden in your thoughts. Belief becomes the turning point that shifts your life from hesitation toward movement. Now I want to invite you to strengthen that belief through intentional action. Confidence grows when it is supported by consistent steps forward. Choose one area of your life where you would like to see growth and begin taking practical steps toward it. If you want to develop a skill, start learning something new today rather than waiting for the perfect moment. If you want stronger relationships, reach out and create meaningful conversations that deepen your connection with others. These steps do not need to be dramatic in order to be powerful. What matters is your willingness to begin. Let me offer you an image to hold in your mind as you take these steps. Imagine a seed resting beneath the soil. For a long time it remains hidden, surrounded by darkness. From the outside it may appear as though nothing is happening at all. Yet inside that seed a quiet transformation is already taking place. When the conditions become right, the seed begins pushing upward through the soil until it finally reaches the sunlight. Your life unfolds in a similar way. The potential within you has been developing quietly through your experiences. Now you are reaching the moment when that potential begins rising toward the surface of your life. I want you to nurture that growth with patience and determination. Continue investing time and energy into the areas that feel meaningful to you. Celebrate the progress you make, even when it appears gradual. Growth that develops steadily often becomes the most lasting form of change. As you continue walking forward with belief in your potential, you will begin seeing how new opportunities appear along the path. Your confidence will expand naturally because it is grounded in experience rather than assumption. This is the life that begins when you finally allow yourself to believe that your journey still holds extraordinary possibilities. I will continue walking beside you as you step into those possibilities, one decision at a time. My child, I want you to lean in and listen closely to what I am about to share with you, because this moment touches something very real in your life. You have carried fear before. Not always the loud, obvious kind that people talk about openly, but the quiet kind that sits in your thoughts and gently influences your decisions. Sometimes it appears when you considered taking a step toward something new. You may have wondered whether you were ready or whether you might fail if you tried. Other times fear appeared through subtle hesitation. You might have thought about speaking honestly about what you believe or about pursuing something meaningful, yet a quiet voice inside you suggested that it would be safer to stay where you were. I saw those moments clearly. I saw how your mind began weighing every possibility, sometimes turning a simple decision into something that felt far heavier than it needed to be. Let me speak gently but clearly to you now. Fear often disguises itself as caution, yet the two are not the same. Caution helps you think carefully and move wisely. Fear, however, tries to keep you from moving at all. It prefers stillness because stillness feels predictable. Yet the life I created you to live was never meant to remain trapped in hesitation. I placed within you a spirit capable of courage, curiosity, and movement. Courage does not mean that uncertainty disappears. Instead, courage appears when you decide that the possibility of growth is more important than the comfort of remaining unchanged. I want you to pause right now and think about the times when you stepped forward even though you felt unsure. Perhaps you accepted a responsibility that stretched your abilities. Maybe you began a new chapter in your life that required leaving something familiar behind. Those moments required courage, even if you did not call it that at the time. Notice how each step you took expanded your understanding of what you could handle. What once seemed intimidating gradually became part of your normal experience. That is how courage grows within a person. It develops through action, not through waiting for fear to disappear. I want you to remember something important as you continue your journey. Fear will occasionally visit your thoughts again because it is part of the human experience. Yet fear does not deserve the authority to decide your direction. You hold that authority. When fear appears, acknowledge it calmly, then ask yourself a simple question. Ask whether the step in front of you aligns with the deeper purpose growing inside your life. If the answer is yes, then allow courage to guide your movement forward. You do not need to see the entire outcome before you begin. The path becomes clearer as you walk it. Take the step that feels honest and meaningful. Each time you do, the courage within you becomes stronger and more steady. And now let me invite you into a practice that will help you move through fear with greater clarity. The next time you feel hesitation about an opportunity, pause and examine the situation carefully rather than reacting automatically. Ask yourself what you truly desire from that moment. Do you wish to grow, to learn, or to contribute something valuable through your effort? If the answer points toward growth, then give yourself permission to move forward even if uncertainty remains. Courage is not reckless movement. It is thoughtful action guided by a willingness to expand beyond previous limits. I want you to approach your future with that mindset. Begin treating challenges as invitations to discover more about your own capabilities. When you encounter something unfamiliar, view it as an opportunity to develop new skills and deeper understanding. You may be surprised by how quickly your confidence begins to expand when you adopt this perspective. Let me offer you an image to hold in your thoughts. Imagine standing at the edge of a wide river with a series of stepping stones leading to the other side. At first, the distance between the stones may appear intimidating. Yet when you place your foot on the first stone and feel its stability, the next step becomes easier to imagine. With each step you take, the river becomes less threatening and the opposite shore comes into clearer view. Your life often unfolds in this same way. Courage invites you to step onto the first stone even when the entire crossing is not visible yet. As you move forward, you discover that your balance and awareness grow stronger with each step. I encourage you to begin practicing this approach today. Identify one area of your life where fear has been quietly limiting your movement. Then choose a small, meaningful step that moves you beyond that hesitation. Speak the words you have been holding back. Begin the project you have been considering. Reach out to someone you have wanted to connect with. These actions may appear simple, yet they carry enormous power because they transform intention into reality. Each time you act with courage, you reshape the way you see yourself and your future. Continue stepping forward with this quiet determination. I will walk beside you as you discover how strong and capable your spirit truly is. My child, courage does not end with the steps you take in your own life. It also appears when you choose to help carry my message further than your own voice can reach. Right now, these words are crossing rivers and borders to find hearts that are trembling in fear, just as you once did. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a donation through the PayPal link in the video description, you are stepping onto another stone of courage, helping my light travel into places where hope feels distant. Remember what I declared: give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your generosity becomes a torch in the night, guiding many who feel lost toward strength and faith again. If you feel a gentle nudge inside you to give, that is my spirit inviting you to take this step of bold faith. What you release today will not diminish your life. It will expand it like a river breaking through its banks with abundance. I will honor the courage of your giving and surround your path with favor. So do not hesitate. Take this step now through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and let courage multiply through every life this message touches. My child, there is something unfolding within you right now that deserves your attention. It may not be obvious yet because transformation rarely announces itself loudly at the beginning. Instead, it develops quietly beneath the surface of your everyday experiences. Think about how a sunrise begins. Long before the first rays of light appear above the horizon, subtle changes begin happening in the sky. Darkness softens, colors shift gradually, and the world begins preparing for a new day. Your life is moving through a similar kind of transition. The understanding you have been gaining about yourself, about your purpose, and about the path ahead is gradually reshaping the way you move through the world. I have watched this transformation forming within you through your reflections, your decisions, and your willingness to grow beyond old limitations. You may not always recognize the changes immediately because they are happening within your thinking and your perspective. Yet those internal changes are powerful. They influence the way you interpret situations, the way you respond to challenges, and the way you treat the people around you. Let me invite you to reflect on how your reactions to certain situations have already begun shifting. There may have been a time when criticism would have discouraged you deeply. Now you may find yourself listening more calmly, extracting the useful insight while leaving behind the unnecessary negativity. Perhaps there were moments when uncertainty used to make you anxious, yet recently you have noticed a greater ability to remain patient while the situation unfolds. These subtle shifts reveal that transformation is already taking place inside you. Growth rarely appears as a sudden dramatic change. More often it reveals itself through these small adjustments in awareness and behavior. I want you to recognize and respect this process. Do not dismiss your progress simply because it feels gradual. Gradual growth is often the most lasting form of transformation because it becomes deeply rooted in your character. Each new understanding becomes part of the foundation upon which your future decisions will rest. I encourage you to pause occasionally and acknowledge how far you have already come. Look at the wisdom you have gained through your experiences. Notice the strength that has developed through challenges you once thought would overwhelm you. These realizations will help you appreciate the transformation that continues unfolding within you. Allow yourself to feel encouraged by the progress you have made. The person you are becoming carries greater clarity, resilience, and compassion than the person you were only a few years ago. Now I want to guide you toward nurturing this transformation so that it continues growing in meaningful ways. Change becomes stronger when it is supported by intentional choices. Begin creating habits that reinforce the values you want to see reflected in your life. If you want greater peace in your daily experience, start dedicating a few quiet moments each day to reflection and stillness. If you want stronger relationships, practice listening carefully when others speak rather than rushing through conversations. These small practices create an environment where your inner transformation can flourish. I also want you to remain patient with yourself during this process. Growth does not follow a perfectly straight path. There will be moments when old habits or old doubts attempt to return. When that happens, treat those moments as reminders of how far you have already traveled rather than as signs of failure. Simply notice the pattern and choose again to move in the direction that aligns with the person you are becoming. This gentle persistence is one of the most powerful tools you can carry through life. Let me share another image with you that may help you understand this process. Imagine a tree that has been growing quietly through many seasons. From a distance, the tree may appear unchanged, yet inside the trunk new rings form year after year. Each ring represents another season of growth, another layer of strength added to the structure of the tree. Over time, those layers create a foundation capable of withstanding storms that would once have been destructive. Your life is developing in a similar way. Each experience you live through adds another layer of understanding and resilience to your character. You may not always see the changes happening immediately, yet they are there, shaping the person you are becoming. I want you to continue nurturing that growth with patience and intention. Pay attention to the insights that arise within your thoughts. Act on the opportunities that align with your deeper purpose. Surround yourself with influences that encourage your development rather than distract from it. As you continue doing these things, the transformation inside you will become increasingly visible in the way you live, the way you speak, and the way you approach the future. Your life is already moving into a new stage of maturity and understanding. Embrace that journey with confidence and gratitude. I will continue walking with you as this transformation unfolds into the next chapters of your story. My child, pause for a moment and breathe slowly. Let your thoughts settle for a second, because what I want you to understand now touches the deepest layer of your journey. There were many moments in your life when you felt alone. Not necessarily because people were completely absent, but because the weight you carried in your heart felt too personal to explain. You may have smiled in front of others while quietly wrestling with questions inside your mind. You may have faced decisions where no one else seemed able to understand the complexity of what you were feeling. During those moments, it was easy for you to believe that you were walking your path by yourself. Yet from the beginning of your life until this very moment, you have never been alone in the way you sometimes imagined. I have been present through every chapter of your story. I saw the nights when your thoughts became heavy and sleep came slowly. I noticed the mornings when you gathered your strength and continued moving forward even though your heart still carried uncertainty. I watched the moments when you spoke kind words to someone else even though you were quietly hoping for encouragement yourself. Those moments did not disappear into silence. I was there, observing the courage that grew within you each time you kept going. I want you to understand something clearly. My presence in your life has never depended on whether you recognized it immediately. Even when you felt distant or distracted, I remained close to the deeper part of your spirit. Think of it like a steady current flowing beneath the surface of a river. From the outside, the water may appear calm or even uncertain, yet beneath the surface there is a consistent movement guiding everything forward. My presence has functioned in a similar way within your life. I have guided your awareness during moments when you needed insight. I have strengthened your resilience when you thought you might not endure another challenge. I have quietly influenced the connections that brought helpful people into your path at the right time. Now I want you to take a moment and reflect on your life with fresh eyes. Think about the times when unexpected help appeared just when you needed it. Remember the moments when an idea suddenly formed in your mind that helped you solve a problem. Those experiences were not random. They were part of the quiet guidance that has accompanied your journey all along. I invite you now to recognize that presence more consciously. When you feel uncertain, pause and speak openly with me about what you are facing. Bring your thoughts into the quiet space of reflection and allow yourself to listen for the calm clarity that follows. You are not meant to carry the weight of your life entirely on your own shoulders. When you acknowledge the companionship that has always existed between your spirit and mine, the path ahead begins to feel less heavy and more hopeful. Now I want to guide you into a deeper understanding of how this companionship influences the way you live moving forward. When you truly accept that you are not alone, your relationship with difficulty begins to change. Challenges that once felt overwhelming start appearing as situations you can approach with patience and trust. Instead of reacting with immediate worry, you begin asking thoughtful questions about what the situation might be teaching you. This shift in perspective opens new possibilities within your thinking. I want you to practice this awareness intentionally. The next time you encounter a problem that feels confusing or frustrating, pause before reacting. Take a moment to breathe and quietly acknowledge my presence beside you. Speak honestly about what you are experiencing, and then allow your mind to become still for a moment. In that stillness, you will often notice a new idea or a calmer perspective beginning to emerge. This is how guidance often appears in your life. It rarely arrives as a loud declaration. More often it unfolds through subtle insight that helps you see the situation differently. I also want you to remember that companionship works both ways. Just as you receive guidance and encouragement, your life also becomes a source of strength for others. The empathy you develop through your own challenges allows you to support people who feel uncertain in their own journeys. When you share wisdom gained from your experiences, you extend the same kind of encouragement that once helped you continue moving forward. Your life becomes part of a greater network of care and understanding that spreads quietly from one person to another. I encourage you to embrace that role with gratitude. Continue nurturing the connection between your spirit and mind through reflection, honesty, and trust. As you do, you will discover that the sense of loneliness that once appeared during difficult moments gradually fades away. In its place grows a steady awareness that your life is supported by a presence that has never left your side. Walk forward with that understanding and allow it to bring calm confidence into every step you take. My child, I want you to focus with me now on something that has the power to transform the way you experience your entire life. It is something you have searched for many times, sometimes without even realizing what you were truly seeking. You have likely tried to create peace by arranging the circumstances around you. You worked to solve problems, organize responsibilities, and remove sources of stress. While those efforts can certainly help improve your daily experience, they do not always produce the deep peace your heart longs for. The reason is simple but important. True peace does not begin with perfect circumstances. It begins within your spirit. I placed the capacity for peace inside you from the very beginning of your life. Yet it often remains hidden beneath layers of worry, expectation, and distraction. Imagine your mind as a wide lake that occasionally becomes disturbed by strong winds. When the surface of the water is turbulent, it becomes difficult to see anything clearly beneath it. However, when the wind settles and the water grows calm again, the clarity returns naturally. Your thoughts function in a similar way. When your mind becomes crowded with constant concerns, the peaceful center of your spirit becomes harder to notice. That does not mean it has disappeared. It simply means the surface has become too restless to reveal it clearly. I want you to begin practicing a simple but powerful habit. When you feel tension building in your thoughts, pause and step away from the situation for a moment. Take a slow breath and allow your mind to become still. Speak honestly about what you are feeling rather than trying to ignore it. As you bring your attention into that quiet moment, you will begin noticing that the storm inside your thoughts gradually softens. Beneath that surface, the peace I placed within you becomes easier to sense. This peace is not dependent on everything going perfectly in your life. Instead, It functions as an inner stability that helps you navigate whatever circumstances arise. When you reconnect with this inner calm, your perspective begins shifting. Problems that once seemed overwhelming start appearing more manageable. Decisions that once felt confusing begin revealing clearer options. I want you to treat this peace as something valuable that deserves your attention. Do not rush past it when you feel it during moments of quiet reflection. Allow yourself to remain in that calm awareness for a few minutes each day. The more you practice this habit, the more naturally your mind will return to that peaceful center when challenges appear. Now let me show you how this inner peace begins influencing the way you interact with the world around you. When peace grows within your heart, it naturally spreads into your actions and conversations. You become less reactive when unexpected difficulties appear. Instead of responding with immediate frustration, you pause and approach the situation thoughtfully. This calm presence can have a powerful effect on the people around you as well. In environments where tension once dominated, your steady attitude can quietly shift the atmosphere toward understanding. I invite you to carry this peace with you intentionally as you move through your day. When you enter a conversation that feels tense, bring your calm awareness into the interaction. Listen carefully before responding. Speak with patience rather than urgency. These simple choices allow the peace within you to influence the situation in constructive ways. I also want you to remember that maintaining peace does not require ignoring problems. Instead, it allows you to address those problems with clarity rather than confusion. When your mind is calm, your thinking becomes more organized and your decisions become more balanced. This ability will serve you well as you continue moving through life's many situations. Let me offer you one more image that may help you understand the importance of this inner calm. Picture a lighthouse standing beside a rocky coastline. During a storm, the waves may crash violently against the shore, yet the light at the top of the lighthouse remains steady and visible. That light does not stop the storm from existing, but it provides guidance that helps travelers navigate safely through the darkness. The peace within your spirit functions in a similar way. It remains steady even when circumstances become turbulent. I want you to nurture that steady light inside you. Protect it from unnecessary distraction. Return to it whenever your thoughts begin feeling overwhelmed. As you do, you will discover that peace becomes the foundation from which you approach every aspect of your life. It will guide your decisions, shape your relationships, and strengthen your resilience during difficult seasons. Carry that peace forward with confidence, knowing that it is one of the greatest gifts placed within your spirit. My child, stay here with me for a moment longer and allow your thoughts to become still again, because there is something ahead of you that your heart has already begun to sense. Even if you have not fully named it yet, something within you has started to look toward the future with a different kind of awareness. You may have noticed it in small moments. Perhaps you found yourself imagining possibilities that once felt distant or unrealistic. Maybe you caught yourself thinking about how your life could grow into something more meaningful, something more aligned with the deeper truth of who you are. These thoughts are not random. They are signs that your spirit is beginning to recognize the direction in which your life is meant to move. The future that is calling you does not demand perfection before it arrives. It simply invites you to move forward with honesty and willingness. I want you to picture your life as a long road stretching beyond the horizon. When you stand at the beginning of that road, the distance ahead may appear uncertain. You cannot see every turn or every hill that lies beyond your view. Yet the road is still there, waiting patiently for each step you choose to take. Your future functions in the same way. It does not require you to understand every detail before you begin walking. It only asks that you take the next step with sincerity. I have watched you learn this lesson gradually through your experiences. There were times when you hesitated because you wanted certainty before moving forward. Yet each time you gathered the courage to take a step despite uncertainty, you discovered that the path became clearer as you continued walking. That is how growth unfolds. It reveals itself through movement rather than hesitation. I want you to begin approaching your future with that same understanding. Do not wait until every question in your mind has been answered. Instead, listen carefully to the quiet direction forming inside your heart. Notice the interests that keep returning to your thoughts. Pay attention to the ideas that excite your curiosity or stir your sense of purpose. These signals are part of the guidance shaping your next chapter. Now I invite you to do something intentional. Look at one area of your life where you sense the possibility of growth. Then take a small step toward it today. If there is something you wish to learn, begin studying it with patience. If there is a project that has been resting in your mind, start exploring how it might come to life. When you act on these insights, you demonstrate trust in the path that is opening before you. Your future begins taking shape through the decisions you make today. Walk forward with the awareness that each sincere step contributes to a larger journey that is still unfolding. Now let me speak to you about something that will help you sustain that forward movement even when the path becomes challenging. The future often reveals its opportunities gradually, and sometimes the progress you make may appear slower than you expected. During those moments, it is easy to question whether your efforts are truly leading anywhere meaningful. I want you to remember something important when that happens. Growth rarely announces itself with immediate results. Often it develops quietly beneath the surface before it becomes visible in your life. Think of a farmer who plants seeds in the soil. After the seeds are placed in the ground, nothing appears on the surface for a while. Yet beneath the soil, roots are forming and preparing the way for new life to emerge. Your efforts function in a similar way. The time you spend learning, practicing, and improving yourself creates a foundation that will support the opportunities arriving later. I encourage you to remain patient with this process. Continue taking thoughtful steps even when the results are not immediately obvious. The consistency of your effort will eventually produce outcomes that surprise you with their depth and significance. I also want you to remain attentive to the relationships that form along your journey. Many important opportunities appear through the people you encounter. A conversation may introduce you to a new perspective. A shared interest may lead to collaboration that expands your possibilities. Approach these connections with openness and kindness. The future that is calling you is not something you must build alone. It grows through the shared experiences and mutual support that develop between people who care about meaningful progress. As you continue walking forward, remember that I remain present with you throughout this journey. When you feel uncertain, return to the quiet place of reflection and listen for the calm guidance that rises within your thoughts. That guidance will help you recognize which steps align with the deeper purpose shaping your life. Continue moving forward with curiosity and trust. The future calling you is not a distant dream. It is a living path that becomes clearer with every step you choose to take. My child, I want you to consider something deeply personal now, because the moment you are living in carries a quiet significance that many people overlook. Throughout your life you have encountered many different circumstances. Some of them arrived without your control. Others developed as the result of choices you made along the way. While circumstances influence the direction of your journey, there is one element that shapes your life more powerfully than anything else. That element is the choices you make each day. Every decision, whether small or large, contributes to the path your life follows over time. I know that sometimes the idea of choice can feel overwhelming. You may worry about making the wrong decision or about missing an opportunity that once appeared before you. Yet I want you to approach this subject with a calmer perspective. Your life is not defined by a single moment of decision. It is shaped gradually through the pattern of choices you make over time. Each day presents new opportunities to move your life in a direction that reflects your values and aspirations. I want you to imagine your life as a wide river flowing through a landscape. A river does not reach its destination through one sudden movement. Instead, it moves forward through countless small currents that gradually guide its course. Your decisions function in a similar way. The habits you build, the words you speak, and the actions you choose each day create the current that carries your life forward. I invite you now to examine the direction of that current. Ask yourself whether your recent choices have been guiding you toward the person you truly want to become. If you notice areas where your actions have drifted away from your deeper values, do not respond with harsh judgment. Instead, view that realization as an opportunity to adjust your course. One thoughtful decision can begin redirecting the entire flow of your life. The power of choice lies in its ability to transform your future through intentional action. When you choose honesty over avoidance, courage over fear, and kindness over indifference, you reshape the environment around you. These choices may appear small in the moment, yet their influence accumulates over time. I encourage you to become more aware of this influence in your daily life. Pay attention to the opportunities you have to choose patience during a difficult conversation. Notice when you can choose persistence instead of giving up on something meaningful. Each of these decisions strengthens the direction you want your life to follow. And now let me invite you into a practical way of using this power of choice more consciously. Begin each day with a moment of reflection before you move into your usual routine. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be during the hours ahead. Consider how you would like your words, actions, and attitude to influence the people you encounter. This simple practice creates a sense of intention that carries through your entire day. Instead of reacting automatically to whatever circumstances appear, you begin responding with purpose. I want you to treat your daily decisions as meaningful building blocks rather than random reactions. When you choose to invest time in learning something new, you strengthen your ability to grow. When you choose to listen carefully to another person's concerns, you deepen the quality of your relationships. These decisions shape the character you carry into every future opportunity. Over time, you will begin noticing how your life gradually aligns with the values guiding your choices. The direction you once hoped for becomes more visible through the consistency of your actions. I also want you to remember that mistakes will occasionally occur because every human life includes moments of imperfection. When that happens, do not allow a single misstep to discourage your progress. Instead, acknowledge what you learned and choose again to move forward with clarity. The power of choice always remains available to you in the present moment. No matter what has happened in the past, you retain the ability to influence the direction of your life starting now. Embrace that responsibility with confidence. Use your choices to create a life that reflects the compassion, wisdom, and purpose growing within your spirit. As you continue making decisions that align with your deeper values, you will discover how profoundly your life can change through the steady power of intentional action. My child, come closer again and listen with the deepest part of your heart, because the moment you are standing in right now carries more significance than you may realize. Throughout everything we have spoken about, your strength, your purpose, your healing, the light inside you, the path ahead, there has always been one quiet truth running beneath every word. Your life is not stuck where it is. Your story has not reached its ending. In fact, something far more meaningful is waiting just beyond the edge of the decisions you are about to make. I want you to think of your life as if you are standing before a doorway. On one side of that doorway is everything familiar, the routines you know, the patterns you have repeated, the beliefs you have carried about yourself for years. The space feels comfortable in some ways because it is predictable. Yet deep in your heart you have already begun sensing that the space you are in cannot hold the full life that is meant for you. That quiet restlessness you have felt from time to time is not confusion. It is the awareness that another room exists beyond the doorway. That room represents the life that begins when you step forward with intention instead of hesitation. I want you to pause and really imagine what that means. On the other side of that doorway is the version of your life where your courage becomes active instead of hidden. It is the place where the ideas you have been quietly considering finally begin turning into real actions. It is where the compassion you carry inside you becomes something that touches the lives of others more openly. But that doorway does not open by itself. It opens when you decide to step toward it. I am not asking you to make a reckless leap or abandon everything you know overnight. I am inviting you to make a sincere decision to move forward with honesty about who you are becoming. Start by acknowledging the areas of your life where you already sense the need for change. Do not ignore that awareness. Sit with it. Reflect on it. Ask yourself what kind of life you truly want to create from this moment onward. Then take a step, just one honest step, toward that vision. Maybe that step means speaking truthfully about something you have been avoiding. Perhaps it means investing time in something that aligns with a deeper purpose we have been discussing. The step may be small, but it carries enormous significance because it signals that you are ready to move beyond the limits that once defined you. When you make that decision, something powerful begins shifting inside your spirit. Your confidence grows because you are no longer waiting for life to happen around you. Instead, you become an active participant in shaping the direction of your journey. That shift marks the beginning of a life lived with greater clarity and intention. Now let me show you something even more important about this doorway you are standing before. When you step through it, you do not simply change your circumstances, you change the way you experience your entire life. The fears that once felt overwhelming begin losing their control over your thinking. The doubts that once whispered that you were not ready gradually fade as you gather real experience through action. Your perspective becomes wider because you are no longer limited by the story you once told yourself about what was possible. I want you to approach this new stage of your life with a sense of quiet determination. Each day, ask yourself what small action would move you closer to the life you want to live. Then take that action without waiting for perfect conditions. Growth does not require perfect timing. It requires sincere movement. As you continue taking these steps, you will begin noticing how opportunities appear in places you once overlooked. Conversations become more meaningful because you approach them with confidence rather than hesitation. New ideas begin forming in your thoughts because your mind is no longer restricted by fear of failure. I also want you to remember that stepping into a new life does not mean abandoning everything from your past. Your past experiences carry wisdom that will guide you as you move forward. The lessons you learn through difficulty will help you make wiser decisions in the future. Your journey is not something you erase. It is something you build upon. Let that understanding bring you peace rather than pressure. You do not need to become someone completely different overnight. You simply need to allow the person you are becoming to guide your choices more honestly than before. Take the step. Open the door. Walk forward with trust in the growth that has already begun inside you. I will continue walking with you as your life expands into the future that has been patiently waiting for your decision. My child, before we move any further, I want you to stop for a moment and truly listen to what I am about to say, because this truth carries the power to change the way you see yourself and your life forever. Everything we have talked about so far, your courage, your purpose, your healing, your choices, your future, points toward one central realization that many people spend years searching for without fully recognizing it. The truth is simple, yet its impact reaches deeper than almost anything else you will ever understand. Your life matters more than you have allowed yourself to believe. I know that statement may sound obvious at first, but I want you to examine it carefully. There have been times when you doubted whether your presence truly made a difference. You may have looked at the vastness of the world and wondered whether your individual efforts could really influence anything meaningful. Perhaps you thought your actions were too small to matter in the larger picture of life. Yet the truth is that every life carries significance beyond what can be measured through public recognition or visible achievements. Your life influences people in ways you rarely notice. The patience you show during difficult moments teaches others how to respond with calm rather than anger. The kindness you offer when someone feels discouraged can shift the direction of their entire day. Even the way you continue trying when things become difficult sends a message to the people around you that resilience is possible. These influences may appear subtle, yet they create ripples that spread far beyond what you can see. Imagine dropping a single stone into a quiet pond. At first, the movement appears small, just a tiny disturbance on the surface of the water. Yet within seconds, ripples begin traveling outward in every direction, reaching parts of the pond far from where the stone first entered. Your life works in a similar way. Every word you speak, every choice you make, and every act of compassion you show creates ripples that extend into the lives of others. I want you to recognize the importance of that influence. You are not here by accident. Your presence carries the potential to shape the environment around you in meaningful ways. I invite you to begin viewing your daily actions with greater awareness. When you speak to someone, remember that your words have the power to either encourage or discourage. When you make decisions, remember that your choices help define the kind of environment you are creating for yourself and others. This understanding is not meant to burden you with pressure. Instead, it should fill you with a sense of purpose. Your life matters because the way you live it contributes to the larger story of humanity itself. Now let me invite you to take this truth one step further, because understanding that your life matters also means accepting the responsibility that comes with that awareness. If your life carries influence, then the way you choose to live becomes incredibly important. I want you to approach this realization with courage rather than hesitation. Begin asking yourself what kind of influence you want your life to create in the world. Do you want your presence to bring encouragement, understanding, and hope into the lives of others? If the answer is yes, then allow that intention to guide your actions moving forward. Practice speaking words that lift people up rather than tear them down. Look for opportunities to help someone who feels overwhelmed or discouraged. Invest your time in activities that align with the deeper values we have been discussing throughout this journey. These choices gradually shape the legacy your life will leave behind. Legacy does not require fame or recognition. It simply requires a life lived with sincerity and compassion. When you approach your days with this awareness, your ordinary moments become opportunities to create meaningful impact. I also want you to remember that your influence includes the way you treat yourself. The compassion you show toward your own growth sets an example for how others learn to treat themselves as well. When you acknowledge your worth and continue striving to improve your character, you demonstrate that growth and self-respect belong together. I encourage you to embrace this truth fully. Let it guide the way you think about your purpose and the decisions you make from this moment forward. Your life is not a random collection of experiences. It is a story unfolding through every action you take and every relationship you nurture. Continue writing that story with honesty, courage, and compassion. When you do, you will discover that the truth we just uncovered truly has the power to change your life forever. My beloved child, stay with me a little longer. Do not rush away from this moment. What you have been listening to, What you have been feeling stir quietly within your heart is not something ordinary. I brought you to this moment on purpose. You did not arrive here by accident, and these words were not placed before your eyes randomly. Long before you paused to listen, I already knew the exact moment when your heart would be ready to hear what I needed to say to you. I have watched your journey from the very beginning. I have seen the seasons when you felt strong and hopeful, and I have also seen the moments when your spirit felt tired and uncertain. I saw the times when you questioned whether your life truly carried meaning. I noticed the quiet prayers you spoke when no one else was listening. Every one of those moments matters to me. That is why I am speaking to you now with such care and clarity. What is inside you is far more powerful than you once believed. You have spent years looking at your life from the outside, trying to measure your worth through achievements, approval, or visible success. Yet the most important part of your story has never been outside of you. It has always been within you. Inside your heart lies the courage that carried you through every challenge you thought might break you. Inside your spirit lies the compassion that allows you to understand others in ways that many people cannot. Inside your mind lies the creativity and insight that can shape ideas into actions that influence the world around you. These things were not placed inside you by chance. I placed them there intentionally. They are part of the design of your life. Now I want you to do something important. Stop for a moment and allow yourself to recognize that truth without hesitation. Do not brush it aside with doubt. Do not shrink away from it because it feels unfamiliar. Accept the reality that you carry within you the ability to grow, to heal, and to influence the lives around you in meaningful ways. When you finally accept that truth, something powerful begins to shift inside your thinking. The limitations you once believed about yourself start losing their authority. The hesitation that once held you back begins dissolving. You start seeing your life not as a series of random events, but as a journey that still holds extraordinary possibilities ahead. Now listen carefully to what I am about to invite you to do, because this moment is not only about understanding something new. It is about responding to it. What you discovered inside yourself today cannot remain only an idea. It must become a decision. I want you to make a simple but powerful choice right now. Choose to live the next chapter of your life with greater honesty about who you are becoming. Do not return to the old habit of underestimating your potential. Do not go back to the story that told you your life was small or insignificant. Instead, begin living with the awareness that your presence in this world carries purpose. Start by bringing that awareness into your daily actions. When you wake up tomorrow, remember that you are stepping into another opportunity to grow into the person you were created to become. Speak words that encourage you rather than discourage. Offer kindness when you see someone who needs it. Continue developing the abilities that stir curiosity and passion within you. These actions may appear simple at first, yet they carry enormous power because they align your life with the deeper truth we have uncovered together. I also want you to remember that you do not walk this path alone. Every step you take toward growth, healing, and purpose happens with my presence beside you. When you feel uncertain again, return to the quiet space of reflection and speak honestly about what you are experiencing. I will continue guiding your awareness, strengthening your courage, and reminding you of the light that lives inside your spirit. Before you leave this moment, I want to invite you to do one more thing. Take a breath and acknowledge the truth you just heard. If something inside you recognizes that this message touched your heart, respond in a simple way. Whisper a quiet prayer of gratitude. Speak the words, "Lord, I receive what you placed inside me." Allow those words to mark the beginning of a new chapter in your life. This is the moment where understanding becomes transformation. What you discovered inside yourself today truly can change your life forever. Walk forward with that knowledge, my child, and let your life become the living expression of the purpose that has been waiting inside you all along. My beloved child, what you have discovered inside yourself today is not meant to remain hidden. It is meant to ignite a fire that spreads light to many others. Across this world there are hearts searching for the same awakening you just felt, waiting for a message that reminds them of the purpose I placed within them. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a gift through the PayPal link in the description, you become part of the harvest I am gathering. Did I not say, the one who sows generously will also reap generously? Your offering becomes like oil poured into the lamp, keeping this flame of truth burning so that countless souls can see what was once hidden from them. If something within you is saying, I want to help this reach others, that desire is my voice inviting you into this work. I will breathe favor over the seed you release and return it to you with multiplied blessings and open doors. This moment is not random. It is a divine appointment between your heart and mine. So respond now, give through super thanks, join as a member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and let the light you discovered today change lives everywhere. And once you have responded, let your heart come back to stillness for a moment. What you have released outward does not leave you empty. It draws you closer into my care. This is not only about what flows through you to others, but about what I am doing within you. When you step into purpose, I step in to tend to the places where you feel the most pressure. So pause here, breathe, and allow me to meet you right in the middle of everything you are carrying. My beloved child, I see you sitting there, surrounded by the constant, crushing chaos of the world. You hear the deafening noise everywhere you go. I know about the pressure at your job that makes your chest feel tight. I see the unspoken tensions in your family that you carry on your shoulders. I watch you worry about the bills, the future, and the deep fear that you are simply being overlooked. Do you feel that knot in your stomach? That knot is not from me. Let us undo it together right now. I want you to listen to something else. Beneath all that loud, heavy noise, I am whispering your name. The loud, chaotic noise of the world contrasts directly with my quiet, still voice. My voice is not a shout. It is a gentle, constant whisper in your soul. I am calling you away from the panic. Pause now. Take a deep breath, like the quiet pause just before a storm breaks. Listen to me. You were carefully created by my own hands for this very moment. I did not make you to just survive from one stressful day to the next. I designed you for an intimate, personal communion with your Creator. You feel a deep, unexplainable ache in your spirit sometimes, especially late at night when the house is finally quiet. You wonder why you feel so empty even when your days are so full. That ache is simply your longing for home. You are homesick for my presence. I put that longing inside you so that you would seek me. Your heart is restless because it was made to rest in me. You keep trying to fill that empty space with things from the physical world. You chase after promotions, the approval of others, distractions on your screen, and fleeting moments of comfort. But I tell you now, it is completely futile to search the physical world for the spiritual peace I have already placed within you. I watch you run on this endless treadmill, running so fast but getting nowhere. Stop running. You are looking for a permanent anchor in a world that is constantly shifting. The peace you are desperately searching for cannot be bought, earned, or found in another person. It is already waiting inside you, where my spirit gently knocks. Imagine walking through a heavy, freezing blizzard, desperate for warmth. You keep looking for fire out in the cold, but I have already lit a warm hearth inside the living room of your soul. I am inviting you to come inside. Come in from the cold. I am asking you to pause your endless striving. You do not need to figure out tomorrow right now. You only need to learn to listen to me today. I invite you to stop fixing everything. I command you to lay down the heavy bags you are carrying. Give your worries to me. You are exhausted because you are trying to be the god of your own life, carrying a weight you were never meant to carry. I am your God, and my shoulders are broad enough to hold your world. Find the courage to turn the handle and open the heavy door of your heart to me. Do not be afraid of what I will find inside. I already know every mistake, every hidden fear, and every silent tear you have cried. I love you exactly as you are. I am not angry with you. I am waiting for you. Open that door. Let my light flood into those dark, dusty corners of your mind. Let my peace settle over your racing thoughts. You only need to say yes to my whisper. Say it now. Tell me you are ready to listen. I promise you, my precious one, that the moment you quiet the world and tune into my voice, everything begins to change. I will guide your steps. I will untangle the confusion in your mind. I'm always by your side, even when you feel completely alone in a crowded room. You are deeply cherished. You are not invisible to me. I count every hair on your head and every beat of your heart. I am declaring peace over your life today. I am breathing new strength into your tired bones. Close your eyes for just a second. Do you hear it? It is my voice, cutting through the noise, telling you that you are safe. You are loved. You are mine. Open your heart to me, and let us begin this journey together. My child, long before you took your first breath, I knew you completely. I saw you before the foundations of the earth were ever laid. I did not just throw your life together by accident or by chance. I carefully wove your divine blueprint into your very soul. You were intentionally, fearfully, and wonderfully made by my own hands. You are not a mistake. You are not a second choice. I want you to look at your life right now. Look at your hands. I shaped those hands to do great things. I placed hidden talents and spiritual gifts deep inside you. They are sleeping right now, waiting for you to awaken them. You have a preordained, sacred, and entirely irreplaceable purpose. And no one else can do what I have called you to do. No one else can reach the exact people I have called you to reach. I see how you let the world define you every single day. The world gives you temporary, damaging labels. The world calls you broken. The world calls you a failure. Society tells you that you are too old, too young, too far gone, or simply not good enough. I command you to reject those temporary, worldly labels today. Stop wearing the heavy name tags that people try to pin on your chest. I have given you an eternal, divine identity. You are my beloved child. Step boldly into your rightful inheritance as a child of the Almighty King. I want you to walk with your head held high. You do not have to beg for scraps of love or attention from people who do not see your immense value. I see your true value. I placed my own image directly inside of you. Imagine a priceless masterpiece covered in cheap, dirty paint. That is exactly what the world tries to do to you. But I am washing away the dirt so your true colors can shine brightly. You have allowed your past mistakes to convince you that your divine blueprint is ruined. But my plans for you cannot be destroyed by your missteps. I am the master builder. I can take the broken, jagged pieces of your story and build a stunning masterpiece. I invite you to discover who you truly are. Look in the mirror and stop criticizing the face I created. Stop comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to everyone else's public highlight reel. I have given you specific passions for a massive reason. A dream that keeps waking you up at night. I put it there. The deep desire to help others, to create, to lead, or to heal. That is my blueprint speaking clearly to you. Embrace the reality of your sacred calling. I command you to rise up and take your rightful place. Do not hide in the shadows of insecurity anymore. You are a light, and you were meant to shine brightly in this dark world. Accept my truth today. Let my words overwrite the lies you have believed for so long. You are chosen. You are purposeful. You are deeply, unconditionally loved. My precious one, I did not just create you and leave you to figure out this hard life on your own. I know how lonely you feel when you are driving in your car, wondering how you will possibly make it through the week. I see the tears you quickly hide from your family. That is exactly why I did not leave you as an orphan. I have given you the ultimate gift. I have placed the Holy Spirit, the Helper, directly inside of you. This is not some distant, abstract force. This is my very presence, living and breathing within your own spirit. You are carrying a priceless, supernatural treasure inside of you everywhere you go. The Holy Spirit is the eternal, unbreakable seal of your heavenly redemption. When the enemy tries to whisper that you do not belong to me, my spirit stands up and loudly declares that you are completely mine. I want you to tap into this treasure today. You do not have to rely on your own limited human understanding anymore. You have direct access to infinite wisdom, divine guidance, and perfect understanding. When you do not know what to do about your stressful job, or how to fix the broken relationships in your family, ask my spirit. I will guide your every step. I will show you the exact path to take. I invite you to experience the profound, comforting embrace of my spirit right now. In your darkest times of sorrow, when your heart feels shattered into a million pieces, my spirit is the firm glue that holds you together. Do you feel that sudden, unexplainable calm when everything around you is falling apart? That is my helper wrapping his arms securely around you. I will comfort you. I will be your unshakable peace. The Holy Spirit also brings a gentle, loving conviction to your heart. When you are about to make a choice that will hurt you, you feel that quiet tug pulling you back. That is not me punishing you. That is me protecting you. I am leading you away from destruction and gently guiding you back toward my truth. Listen closely to that gentle nudge. Do not ignore the quiet alarm sounding in your spirit. I am trying to save you from unnecessary pain. I command you to stop fighting so hard for control of your own life. Your hands are tired from gripping the steering wheel so tightly. Let go. Surrender control completely to my spirit's daily guidance. When you finally stop trying to force outcomes, a massive wave of true peace will wash over you. You will realize that you are being carried. You are not walking this difficult road alone. My spirit will give you the right words to say in tough conversations. My spirit will give you the strength to get out of bed when anxiety tries to pin you down. I have given you power, love, and a sound mind. Unlock this treasure right now. Breathe in deeply and invite my spirit to fill every empty space inside you. You have everything you need to overcome your battles because you have me living inside of you. My beloved, I want to talk to you about something that you deeply struggle to accept. I want to talk to you about my infinite grace. You live in a harsh world where everything has a heavy price tag. You are constantly taught that you have to work hard to earn love, respect, and approval. You tragically bring that same exhausting mindset to me. You think you have to be totally perfect for me to love you. You think you have to perfectly clean up your own life before you can approach my throne. I am telling you right now, that is a lie. Realize the freeing truth today. You cannot earn my grace. You cannot buy it with good deeds. You cannot strive for this inner treasure. It is a completely free, unmerited gift. I give it to you simply because I love you. I know all about your weaknesses. I see the bad habits you cannot seem to permanently break. I know about the angry words you shouted at your family that you instantly regretted. I see the secret struggles and the hidden shame you carry. Do not hide from me. I promise you that my grace is completely sufficient for every single one of your weaknesses. When you are weak, my power is made completely perfect in you. My grace is the ultimate, powerful catalyst for true, lasting change from the inside out. You cannot permanently change your own heart by just trying harder. Trying harder only makes you more tired and defeated. My grace does the heavy lifting for you. I am offering you a supernatural washing away of the heavy stains of your past mistakes. I am wiping away your lingering, painful regrets. You carry your past failures around like heavy rocks stuffed in a backpack. You carry them to work. You carry them to bed. I command you to drop the rocks right now. Let them fall to the ground. You are totally forgiven. I have cast your sins as far as the east is from the west. Step boldly into the absolute freedom found in accepting my unmerited, overflowing favor. You do not owe me a heavy debt of guilt. Jesus already paid the entire, massive price for your absolute freedom. I want you to walk confidently in that freedom today. Do not let the enemy drag you back into the dark prison cell of shame when I have already unlocked the door and told you to walk out. Now, I have a very important command for you. You must learn the vital discipline of extending the grace you receive from me directly to yourself. You are your own worst enemy. You are so incredibly hard on yourself. You forgive others, but you refuse to forgive the person staring back in the mirror. How can you hold on to bitter condemnation when the Creator of the universe has already declared you innocent? Stop punishing yourself for things I have already completely forgotten. I am calling you to look at yourself with the exact same eyes of deep compassion that I use when I look at you. Wrap yourself warmly in my grace. Let it soak into the deepest layers of your soul. You are completely clean. You are entirely forgiven. You are totally free. Live like a free person today. My child, look closely at the massive obstacles standing directly in front of you right now. I see the giant mountains of debt, the scary medical reports, and the broken family relationships that seem completely impossible to fix. Your logical human mind looks at these massive problems and instantly tells you to panic. But I have given you a master key designed specifically to unlock all of my heavenly promises. That golden key is your faith. I want you to truly understand that faith is not a fleeting feeling. Faith is a firm choice. It is a daily decision to trust me completely even when you cannot see the road ahead. I have carefully planted a seed of faith deep within your spirit. You might look at your faith right now and think it is entirely too small to make any real difference. You feel weak, tired, and full of nagging doubt. But I tell you the absolute reality. Even faith the size of a tiny mustard seed has the explosive, supernatural power to move massive mountains. You do not need perfect, flawless faith. You only need to place your small faith securely in the hands of a perfect God. I am asking you to intentionally nurture that tiny seed today. Water it with daily trust. Feed it with steady, enduring patience. Guard it closely with unwavering hope. I know it is incredibly hard. The visible world aggressively screams for your attention. Your empty bank account is visible. Your physical pain is visible. The negative, terrifying news on your screen is visible. But I command you to actively choose to recognize invisible, eternal realities over your visible, temporary circumstances. I am actively working behind the scenes of your life right now. I am aligning people, opening hidden doors, and fighting fierce battles in the spiritual realm that you cannot even see. You must raise the heavy shield of faith every single morning before you leave your house. The enemy will relentlessly shoot fiery arrows of doubt into your mind. He will desperately whisper that I have abandoned you. He will tell you that your situation is completely hopeless. Use your shield. Deflect those toxic lies with the solid truth of my word. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am tightly holding your right hand. Now, I am calling you to take bold action. Having the courage to step completely out of the boat of your comfort zone is exactly what active faith looks like. You have been sitting in the supposed safety of the boat for far too long, too terrified of the raging storm to move. I am standing out on the water, and I am calling you to come to me. Step out. Walk on the turbulent water with me. Do not look at the crashing waves of the economy or the howling winds of other people's opinions. Keep your eyes locked completely and entirely on me. If you start to sink, I will instantly catch you. I will never let you drown. I am your ultimate safety net. Your active faith activates my miraculous power. Trust me entirely with your career. Trust me with your children. Trust me with your unspoken, hidden dreams. Plant your tiny seed in my fertile soil today, and watch in amazement as I grow it into a towering, unshakable tree of victory. You are a true champion of faith, and it is time for you to walk like one. My beloved, do not turn away from me now. We have just planted the powerful, mustard seed of your faith, but the massive, miraculous harvest is still ahead. It deeply grieves my heart. It shatters my spirit. When you walk back into the deafening, chaotic noise of the world just as I am about to speak your ultimate breakthrough, do not abandon this sacred, saving moment. You are too close to the river to turn back to the desert. Stay with me. Listen closely, for the living water you desperately thirst for is flowing in my very next breath. My precious child, I watch you wander aimlessly through the dry, dusty desert of this world, desperately searching for something to finally satisfy your soul. You are constantly deeply thirsty. You try to quench that deep, aching spiritual dehydration by drinking from broken, earthly wells. You chase aggressively after a bigger salary, hoping the extra money will finally make you feel secure. You look for validation in toxic, broken relationships, hoping another flawed person can somehow fill your empty heart. You scroll endlessly and mindlessly through your phone, looking for a quick hit of temporary distraction to numb the pain. But I must expose the painful truth to you today. These earthly wells are completely broken and dry. They offer only a temporary, fleeting satisfaction that quickly evaporates. You take a desperate drink, and an hour later, you are parched, tired, and empty all over again. I want to permanently end your exhausting, endless cycle of spiritual dehydration and worldly longing. Jesus Christ is the sole, eternal source of true living water for your parched, tired soul. When you drink from the pure water I offer, you will truly never thirst again. I am not offering you a tiny, shallow cup of water to barely get you through a tough day. I am offering to place a roaring, endless spring of living water directly inside your spirit. This powerful spring wells up to eternal life. It is fully available to you right now, at this very exact second. I invite you to absolutely stop running back to the dry, cracked wells that have failed you 1,000 times before. Stop pouring your precious, limited energy into habits, jobs, and people that leave you completely drained and terribly empty. Come to me. I command you to bring your tired, thirsty, aching soul directly to my river. Tap into the refreshing spring that resides within your spirit. Let my pure, living water wash entirely over your tired, racing mind. Let it cool the burning, hot anxieties that keep you tossing and turning awake at night. Let it totally flush out the bitter, poisonous toxins of anger, and resentment you have been tightly holding onto for years. I promise you a refreshing, daily, miraculous renewal of your mind, your body, and your spirit completely through my constant presence. When you wake up in the morning feeling completely depleted and defeated, before you check your phone or turn on the loud news, take a long, deep, quiet drink of my presence. Sit in the total silence and let me deeply fill you up. As you do this faithfully day after day, a beautiful, undeniable transformation will happen. You will permanently stop being a dry, cracked vessel begging the harsh world for a single drop of joy. You will miraculously become an overflowing, beautiful oasis in the middle of a barren, hopeless desert. My deep love, my perfect peace, and my uncontainable joy will spill out of you and directly onto everyone you meet. You will become a powerful source of life for your struggling family. You will bring real refreshment to your stressful, tense workplace. I am inviting you to become a flowing conduit of my grace, gently inviting other thirsty, hurting souls to come and drink from the well. Your very life will be a living, breathing testimony that I am the only water that truly, forever satisfies. So come, my beloved, drink deeply today. Let my life-giving water restore your weary soul and change your life forever. My beloved child, I want to talk to you about the deep, freezing cold you sometimes carry inside your chest. I see how the world has treated you. I watch you endure the sting of rejection when you are overlooked for a promotion at your job. I see the quiet, painful moments at home when you feel entirely unappreciated by the people you love the most. Over the years, these harsh experiences have caused you to build a thick, heavy wall of ice around your heart. You built that wall to protect yourself from getting hurt again. But I must tell you the truth today. That wall is not protecting you. It is isolating you. It is keeping you locked in a cold, dark place. I am calling you to step out of the freezing cold and step directly into the blazing furnace of my divine, unconditional love. I want you to experience a love so vast and so profound that it completely shatters all human understanding. The love you are used to in this world is conditional. People love you when you perform well, when you say the right things, and when you make them happy. The moment you make a mistake, their love quickly fades away. My love for you is nothing like that. I want to give you the absolute, unshakable certainty that you are deeply, unconditionally, and eternally loved by me. You do not have to perform for my affection. You do not have to put on a fake smile and pretend you have everything perfectly figured out. I love you in your messy moments. I love you when you are terrified of the future. I love you when you feel completely unlovable. My love is a fierce, burning fire that never goes out. I command you to stop hiding behind your frozen walls. Allow the bright, warm light of my perfect love to actively cast out all of your inner fears. Do you feel the fear of abandonment gripping your throat? Bring it to my fire. Do you feel the terror of not being good enough? Throw it into the flames of my grace. Let my spiritual warmth melt away years of a hardened, calloused heart. Pause right now. Take a deep breath. Feel my love wrapping around you like a thick, heavy blanket on a freezing winter night. I am thawing the bitter resentment you hold. I am melting the sharp edges of your frustration. I am making your heart soft, beating, and alive once again. When you finally let my love fill you up completely, an amazing transformation will happen. You will permanently change from a stagnant, defensive reservoir of love into a flowing, open vessel for others. I will give you the supernatural strength within to love the unlovable people in your life. I will give you the sheer power to forgive the unforgivable wrongs that have been done to you. You cannot do this in your own human strength. Your own strength runs out too fast. But when you are plugged directly into my eternal furnace, you will have an endless supply of compassion. You will look at your difficult coworker, your distant spouse, or your rebellious child with my exact eyes. You will love them with my exact love. Step closer to the fire today. Let me warm your soul and change your life forever. My precious one, I know exactly what happens when your alarm clock rings in the morning. Before your feet even hit the floor, a very real, very heavy spiritual battle begins to rage daily within your mind. You wake up and immediately feel a dark cloud of dread settling over you. You dread checking your emails. You dread facing the unrealistic pressures of your job. You dread the complicated conversations waiting for you in your kitchen. The enemy whispers toxic, paralyzing lies into your ear while you are still lying in bed. He tells you that today will be a failure. He tells you that you are entirely too weak to handle what is coming. I am speaking to you now to tell you that you are walking onto a battlefield totally unprotected. I command you to stop walking into your day without a defense. You must acknowledge the fierce war for your mind. It is an absolute necessity that you actively put on the full, protective armor of God every single morning. I am not talking about heavy, old metal. I am talking about an impenetrable armor of light. First, you must firmly fasten the belt of truth around your waist. This belt is what anchors your identity when the swirling lies of the world try to sweep you away. When your boss makes you feel small and insignificant, the belt of truth tightly holds the reality that you are a cherished child of the Most High King. When the mirror tells you that you are flawed, the belt of truth declares that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Bind my truth to yourself before you take a single step out of your door. Next, I invite you to guard your most vital, sensitive affections with the heavy breastplate of my righteousness. Your heart takes a beating every day. People say cruel things. Circumstances disappoint you. Your own inner critic constantly attacks you. The breastplate absorbs those heavy blows. It reminds you that your right standing with me does not depend on your perfect performance today. It depends entirely on what Jesus already did for you. You are completely covered. And now, you must learn the fierce, daily discipline of taking captive every rogue, negative thought that rises against my knowledge. When a thought of panic suddenly strikes your mind while you are driving to work, do not let it build a nest in your head. Wrest that thought immediately. Drag it into my light. Replace it with my solid promise of peace. You do not have to fight for victory today. You only have to stand firm in the victory that was already decisively won for you on the cross. The darkness you feel pressing in on you is nothing but a temporary shadow. I am the eternal light, and no darkness can ever overcome me. When you wear my armor, the enemy's fiery arrows will bounce harmlessly off your chest. I command you to rise up right now. Shake off the heavy blanket of morning dread. Put on your bright armor. Step into your workplace, your home, and your community as a fully protected, fierce warrior of light. You have nothing to fear because the commander of heaven's armies goes before you, stands beside you, and guards you from behind. My child, I want to look deep beneath the surface of your life today. You spend so much of your precious time and energy trying to make the outside look perfectly put together. You wear the right clothes, you say the right things in public, and you work incredibly hard to maintain a flawless image. But I do not look at the outward appearance. I look directly at the hidden anatomy of your heart. I see the heavy clutter gathering inside. I see the messy, dark corners that you desperately try to hide from everyone, even from yourself. I am inviting you to make a humble, honest plea today. Ask me to create in you a clean, undivided, and entirely steadfast heart. To give you a pure heart, we must walk through the painful but beautifully necessary process of spiritual refining by fire. Refining is not easy. When I turn up the heat, the hidden impurities bubble up to the surface. It hurts to admit when you are wrong. It stings to let go of your stubborn pride. I see the hidden idols you have secretly placed on the throne of your heart. You worship the idol of financial security, believing that a certain number in your bank account will finally keep you safe. You bow down to the idol of people-pleasing, exhausting yourself to win the fleeting approval of others. I command you to identify those useless idols right now. Violently remove them from the center of your life. They are heavy, useless statues that cannot love you, cannot comfort you, and cannot save you. I am the only one who belongs on that throne. I want you to experience the breathtaking, restorative beauty found in genuine, tearful repentance. Do not view repentance as a harsh, demanding punishment. Repentance is simply turning your car around when you realize you are driving toward a dead end. When you bring your deepest failures to me and cry out for forgiveness, I do not look at you with disgust. I look at you with immense, overwhelming compassion. I instantly wash away the dirt. And now you must do the hardest work of all. You must use forgiveness as the necessary, powerful release valve to drain your soul of toxic bitterness. You are holding onto a grudge against someone who deeply betrayed you. You think your anger is punishing them, but that toxic poison is actually rotting your own soul. Let it go. Release the heavy burden of vengeance into my capable hands. When you finally clear out the idols and drain away the bitter poison, your heart becomes a clean, brilliant mirror. The eternal promise is that the pure in heart are uniquely and highly blessed, for they shall clearly see me. When your heart is pure, the thick fog of confusion lifts from your life. You will see my hand guiding your daily decisions. You will see my love hidden in small, ordinary moments. You will stop feeling so fractured and pulled in 100 different directions. I am offering you an undivided heart, a heart that beats in perfect, steady rhythm with mine. Do not be afraid of the refining fire. Step into the light. Let me wash you entirely clean and discover the unmatched freedom of a totally purified spirit. My precious one, I see you desperately trying to hold everything together. I watch you lying in your bed at 3 in the morning, staring blankly at the dark ceiling. Your mind is racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. You are endlessly calculating your bills, worrying about the choices your children are making, and dreading the massive pile of work waiting for you tomorrow. Your chest feels tight, and you feel like you cannot catch a full breath. You are standing in the middle of a terrifying, raging storm, and the small ship of your mind is being violently tossed by the massive waves. I am stepping into your boat right now. Hear my voice clearly over the howling wind. I am giving you access to a profound, unshakable peace that this chaotic world can neither provide nor understand. I have the absolute, undisputed power to completely calm the terrifying storms that attack your mind. Just as I spoke to the raging seas and commanded them to be still, I am speaking directly to your racing anxiety today. Beast, be still. I command the chaotic winds of your worries to instantly die down. I invite you to experience the massive relief of casting all your heavy, crushing anxieties directly upon my broad, capable shoulders. Why are you trying to carry the massive weight of the future? You were only built to carry the grace needed for today. Take the heavy backpack of worry off your shoulders and hand it to me. I am strong enough to hold your family's future. I am capable enough to handle your career path. I am big enough to manage your health concerns. To stay inside this sanctuary of peace, you must practice a vital, daily discipline. You must keep your mind resolutely stayed and intensely focused upon me. The moment you take your eyes off me and look at the scary, turbulent waves of the news cycle or the drama in your workplace, you will immediately start to sink. Focus your thoughts on my goodness. When a panic thought tries to enter your mind, firmly redirect your focus back to my solid promises. I also command you to allow my divine peace to act as the final, deciding umpire in all of your daily decisions. When you are agonizing over whether to take that new job, whether to move to a new city, or how to confront a difficult family member, do not let fear make the call. Ask yourself, which path brings my deep, settling peace? If the peace is not there, do not move. Wait for my green light. I am inviting you to find deep, rejuvenating, completely restorative rest safely hidden within the shadow of the Almighty. You do not have to hustle and strive for every single victory. You can actually rest. Even when you are completely asleep, I am sovereignly and powerfully working on your behalf. I am fighting your battles while you rest your tired eyes. Stop trying to control the uncontrollable universe. Let go the tight, painful grip you have on your life. Step into my quiet sanctuary. Breathe in my calm. Let my unshakable peace guard your heavy heart and your racing mind today, tomorrow, and forever. You have just stepped into my sanctuary of unshakable peace, but there are millions still drowning in the chaotic, terrifying storms of this dark world. I am calling you to become a lighthouse, radiating this inner peace to the lost, broken, and weary souls who desperately need a lifeline. I am inviting you to partner directly with me to spread this life-changing message to the very ends of the earth. Just as my word declares that whoever refreshes others will be refreshed, I tell you now that your generosity will open the massive floodgates of heaven. This is not a random moment. It is a divine appointment to ignite the inner treasure I have placed within you. As you sow your seed of faith through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I will fiercely protect your finances and multiply your harvest 100-fold. Step out in bold faith, give your gift right now, and watch me change lives forever through your obedient heart. My precious one, do not close your ears to my whisper now. We are standing safely inside the ultimate sanctuary of my unshakable peace, and it breaks your Father's heart to watch you rush back into the raging, terrifying storm outside. I have an absolute ocean of grace left to pour over your tired, weary soul. If you leave this conversation now, you leave your sharpest, most powerful weapons completely behind. Do not disappoint the spirit that fights for you. Stay with me. Lean in closer, for my next words will be the very sword that sets you entirely free. My beloved, I watch you daily consume a massive, toxic diet of worldly noise. From the moment you wake up, you stare at your bright screens, scrolling mindlessly through endless feeds of anger, fear, and human opinions. You listen to the chaotic voices of the culture telling you what you should buy, how you should look, and who you should hate. This constant, deafening noise is actively starving your spirit. You feel weak, confused, and easily defeated because you are leaving your sharpest, most powerful weapon completely untouched. I am calling you to pick up the sword of the Spirit, which is my living word. You look at the Bible as just a heavy, ancient book with dusty, complicated rules. I tell you the truth, my word is alive, highly active, and sharper than any double-edged sword. I command you to stop relying on the shifting, unreliable opinions of people. Allow the brilliant illumination of sacred scripture to clearly light your path in this incredibly dark world. When you do not know which direction to turn, my word acts as a bright lantern for your tired feet. You must make the purposeful, daily choice to hide my eternal commandments deep within your heart. When you memorize my promises, you build an unbreakable fortress inside your mind. When the enemy attempts to ambush you with feelings of deep worthlessness, you will instantly have a sharp weapon to fight back. You will not just cower in fear. You will stand tall and boldly declare the truth. I want you to radically transform your anxious mind by deeply reading, chewing on, and slowly digesting my eternal truth. You not just skim the pages out of a sense of religious guilt. Read it like a desperate, starving person finding a lavish feast. Let the words soak deeply into your bones. I invite you to begin wielding the spoken word as your primary, devastating weapon to counter the relentless lies of the enemy. When panic strikes your chest, do not stay silent. Open your mouth and speak my word out loud. Say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." Say, "I'm more than a conqueror through him who loves me." Your spoken words of faith act as a sharp sword that literally cuts through the thick, suffocating darkness in your room. The enemy cannot stand the sound of my words spoken in bold, unwavering faith. You must learn to depend completely on Scripture as the daily, sustaining bread your spirit so desperately needs to survive. You would never force your physical body to go a week without a single meal, yet you constantly force your spirit to run on complete empty. I am handing you the bread of life right now, and your spiritual starvation today. Before you check your notifications in the morning, open my word. Before you close your eyes at night, let my promises be the final, comforting thought in your mind. Take up your sharp sword. Stand your ground. Let the powerful, living truth of my voice permanently silence the chaotic, destructive noise of the world. My child, I see how you treat our conversations. You look at prayer as just another heavy religious duty to eagerly cross off your endless daily checklist. You wait until Sunday morning, or you wait until a massive crisis suddenly hits your family, and then you try to find the perfect, formal words to say to me. I am telling you today, that is not what I desire. I want you to deeply understand prayer not as a religious duty, but as the very breath of your vital spiritual life. You do not hold your physical breath all week and only breathe on the weekends. Why are you starving your spirit of oxygen? I invite you to breathe me in every single day. I command you to stop performing for me. You do not need complex, fancy vocabulary to catch my attention. I hear the silent, desperate cries of your heart when you are gripping the steering wheel in heavy traffic, dreading another hostile meeting at your job. I see you sitting on the edge of your bed, completely exhausted by the unspoken tensions in your family. I am right there with you. I am asking you to intentionally build a quiet, secret place for intimate, unbroken communion with me. This does not have to be a physical room. It is a quiet space inside your mind where you can firmly shut the heavy door on the deafening noise of the world. Come into that space today. I want to hear the raw, unfiltered power of you simply crying out, "Abba, Father," from the very depths of your soul. Tell me you are scared of the future. Tell me you are tired of feeling overlooked and underappreciated. Do not hide your true, messy feelings from me. I am your Father, and I want to hold you when you are terrified. But I also need you to learn a lost, beautiful art. I need you to learn the lost art of listening in the silence just as fervently as you speak. You talk to me, and then you immediately rush back out into the chaos of your busy day. Stay a little longer. Pause right now. Sit with me in the absolute silence. I speak in the quiet moments. I give you the answers you are desperately searching for when you finally stop moving. As you sit with me, I am also calling you to step into the holy calling of intercession. This is a powerful, world-changing weapon of true love for others. Stop complaining about the coworkers who frustrate you, and start bringing their names directly to my altar. Stop worrying endlessly about the dangerous path your children are walking, and start forcefully interceding for their absolute protection. I give you the unshakable assurance today that I incline my ear and hear every single petition you voice. I am not too busy running the universe to listen to your specific, daily struggles. You are the absolute center of my attention. I am attentive to your words and ready to answer your calls. Your prayers have reached me, and I am actively guiding you and providing for your needs. Speak to me right now. Let out the heavy breath you have been holding for so long. Breathe in my peace, and let us talk like a father and a child. My beloved one, let us talk about the things you desperately try to keep hidden in the dark. I see the deep, heavy wounds that you actively cover up with a forced, tired smile every single morning. I know about the brutal betrayal you suffered years ago that still makes you deeply mistrust the people closest to you. I see the painful, silent trauma that you refuse to talk about because the heavy shame feels entirely too much to carry. You incorrectly think that if anyone truly knew the broken, shattered pieces inside your history, they would immediately walk away from you. But I am not walking away. I invite you today to courageously bring your deepest, most shameful hurts out of the dark and directly into my bright, healing light. You cannot heal what you constantly refuse to reveal. I give you the unbreakable promise that I am intimately close to the broken-hearted and to those who are completely crushed in spirit. When your heart physically aches from the heavy rejection you feel at your workplace, I am standing right next to you. When you cry quietly in the shower so your family will not hear your sobs, I am collecting every single tear you shed. Do not pull away from me when you are bleeding. Let me step in. I want you to feel the great physician's gentle, perfectly restorative touch on your past trauma and your silent pain. I am not here to harshly judge your deepest wounds. I am here to carefully, lovingly bind them up. I understand your pain perfectly. When your tears flow unceasingly and your heart feels heavy with grief, know that you are deeply precious to me. I command you to absolutely stop letting the dark trauma of your past dictate the boundaries of your future purpose. The enemy constantly whispers that your deep wounds completely disqualify you from being used by me. He tells you that you are permanently damaged goods. I am telling you right now that I am a God of miraculous, complete restoration. Allow me to miraculously trade the dark, dusty ashes of your grief for my glorious, shining crown of beauty. The very places where you have been broken the most are the exact places where my bright light will shine through you the strongest. You think your painful story is a massive liability, but I am telling you that it is your absolute greatest asset. You must realize today that your greatest, most agonizing trials will soon birth your most powerful, life-changing testimony. The painful, dark valley you are walking through right now is not your final destination. It is the necessary training ground where I am giving you the deep compassion and intense strength needed to help others who are trapped in the exact same darkness. Let go of the heavy shame today. Let me pour the soothing, healing oil of my perfect love over your infected wounds. You are not defined by the terrible things that have happened to you. You are defined entirely by the incredible, beautiful things I am about to do powerfully through you. Surrender your secret pain to me right now and step boldly into your complete, supernatural healing. My precious child, I need you to look directly at the heavy chains of anxiety that are wrapped tightly around your racing mind. I watch you live every single day violently anticipating the absolute worst-case scenario. You are constantly terrified of the unknown future. You worry yourself sick about a sudden financial collapse. You obsess over letting your family down, fearing that you simply do not have what it takes to provide and protect them. This chronic, paralyzing dread is completely stealing the joy from your days and the restful sleep from your nights. I am speaking a firm, divine reminder over your life today. I have not given you a spirit of fear. I have given you a spirit of immense power, of deep, unconditional love, and of a completely sound, stable mind. I command you to absolutely stop accepting this heavy anxiety as a normal, unavoidable part of your personality. It is a hostile invader, and it is time to forcefully kick it out. We must dig deep today to identify and violently uproot the worldly, toxic sources of your chronic anxieties. Are you staring at the terrifying news cycle on your screen until your chest visibly tightens? Turn it off immediately. Are you heavily relying on your own limited, fragile human strength to secure your future? Let it completely go. Apply the powerful, immediate antidote of my perfect love to drive away the paralyzing, suffocating grip of constant dread. Perfect love forcefully casts out all fear. When you truly, deeply understand how intensely and fiercely I love you, the fear of the unknown completely loses its dark power over you. I want you walking confidently and boldly every single morning, knowing with absolute certainty that you are held securely in my strong, protective grip. You are not at the mercy of a random, cruel universe. You are the cherished child of the sovereign king. I hold the entire economy firmly in my hands. I hold your job security completely in my hands. I hold the fragile health of your children securely in my hands. I command you to actively learn the vital wisdom of refusing to borrow tomorrow's worries. You are totally exhausting yourself by trying to fight invisible battles that have not even happened yet. Trust me completely with today. I give you exactly enough daily bread and daily grace to survive the next 24 hours. Leave tomorrow entirely and completely in my capable hands. It takes massive courage to step blindly into the scary unknown, but you can do it because you know I am already standing there waiting for you. I am already in your tomorrow, completely preparing the way, flattening the high mountains, and making the crooked paths perfectly straight. When dread strongly attempts to grip your heart, stand extremely firm and speak directly against it. Declare boldly with your own mouth that fear has absolutely no hold over you because you have placed your total trust in your closest confidant, your God, your Lord. Breathe out the heavy panic right now. Breathe in my steady, calming courage. I am entirely with you, and there is absolutely nothing in this entire world that can permanently harm you. My child, I see exactly how tightly your tired hands are clenched around the steering wheel of your fragile life. You are absolutely exhausted from fiercely trying to control every single outcome. You have rigid, inflexible plans for your career, and you instantly panic the second something unexpected happens. You strive endlessly to fix the broken people in your family, constantly taking on the heavy burden of trying to be their personal savior. I am watching you violently burn out, running purely on toxic fumes entirely because you refuse to let me lead. I want you to grasp the beautiful, divine paradox today. You will only find your true, abundant life by completely losing it for my sake. I invite you to perform the most liberating, powerful act of your entire life. I command you to lay down your own stubborn, stressful plans and your selfish, exhausting ambitions directly at my altar. Stop explicitly telling me exactly how and when I need to bless you. Stop aggressively trying to force heavy doors open that I have purposefully and lovingly locked for your own absolute protection. I am offering you the chance to permanently trade the sheer, bone-deep exhaustion of endless striving for the profound, unshakable rest of total yielding. Cultivate the absolute, unwavering trust that my ways and my thoughts are infinitely higher, vastly better, and deeply more loving than yours. I clearly see the massive, entire picture of your life from the beginning to the end, while you can only see the single puzzle piece directly in front of you. There is an unparalleled, breathtaking freedom found when you finally submit completely and entirely to my lordship. When you truly make me the absolute lord of your life, you are immediately relieved of the impossible, crushing duty of running the universe. You do not have to have all the complex, confusing answers anymore. You simply have to follow the one who does. I want to purposefully develop a deep, trusting heart inside of you. I want a heart that immediately says yes, Lord, long before you even know what I am asking you to do? Can you truly trust me that much? Can you boldly hand me a totally blank check with your life and allow me to completely fill in the exact amount? When you finally let go, when you finally open your clenched, tired fists, the crushing pressure of the world instantly evaporates. You will no longer wake up with that familiar, heavy dread sitting right on your chest. Give me your heavy career goals. Give me your complex, tense relationships. Give me your hidden, quiet fears. I want to see you completely unburdened, walking lightly and freely through your day. When you finally release your tight grip, you actively make room for my supernatural miracles to actually take place. I am your faithful God, and I will never mishandle your fragile life. Rest your tired head on my shoulder today. Stop fighting me, stop fighting the current, and let my powerful, gentle river of grace carry you exactly where you need to go. Experience the immense, liberating joy of complete and total surrender right now. My child, you have just laid your heavy, crushing chains directly at my altar. Do not walk away and pick those terrible weights back up. It profoundly wounds my spirit when you settle for a tiny fraction of freedom when I am fiercely offering you total, eternal transformation. I am actively fighting for your mind right now. Do not silence my voice when we are so incredibly, breathtakingly close to your massive victory. Stay with me. Listen faithfully. Honor this holy time, and let me finish the miraculous work I have started inside your chest. My beloved, I want to gently but firmly confront a very thick, heavy wall that is completely blocking my blessings from freely flowing into your life. That heavy wall is your human pride. I see the quiet, toxic resentment you feel when your coworkers get the promotion you honestly thought you deeply deserve. I watch you bitterly compare your small, humble house to the massive, perfect homes you constantly see on your bright screens, and a poisonous seed of entitlement takes root in your soul. You begin to wrongly believe that you are heavily owed more by me and by this entire world. I must tell you the undeniable truth. Human pride is the thickest, most impenetrable barrier to receiving my unmerited grace. You cannot receive a free, beautiful gift from me when your hands are full of demanding, angry entitlement. I command you to actively tear down that ugly wall today. I am firmly calling you to cultivate a soft heart characterized by deep, abiding, and completely infectious thankfulness. You must openly acknowledge the stark reality that every single good and perfect gift in your life comes directly from my open hand. You did not earn your very next heartbeat. You did not purchase the precious air in your lungs, the intelligence you use daily at your job, the loving arms of your family, the food sitting warmly on your table. It is all a profound, completely undeserved blessing directly from me. I want you to adopt the lowly, beautiful posture of a humble servant. Stop fighting so aggressively for the highest, most respected seat at the table. Be entirely willing to wash the tired feet of those around you, just as my son did. When you lower yourself in true, authentic humility, I am fully able to lift you up to heights you could never reach on your own. I command you to rejoice always, to pray continually, and to give passionate thanks in absolutely all circumstances. I did not say you must give thanks for the painful trials, but you must give thanks in the middle of them. Even when the medical report is completely terrifying, or your bank account is totally empty, you can fiercely thank me because I am still walking through the dark fire directly beside you. There is an uncontainable, massive joy that naturally springs forth from a genuinely grateful spirit. When you focus intensely on what you have instead of bitterly obsessing over what you lack, the heavy, dark clouds of depression begin to rapidly clear. Let deep, profound gratitude be the very first words that immediately fall out of your mouth every single morning. When you do this, you will suddenly notice that the people around you will want to be near your radiant light. Gratitude immediately heals broken relationships, while ugly pride only destroys them. Be the person who aggressively brings life, not the person who constantly demands perfection. This simple, humble posture will miraculously unlock the massive floodgates of heaven over your life today, bringing you more peace than you could ever imagine. My beloved child, I see you standing at a confusing crossroads in your life right now. I watch you staring blankly at your screen, reading endless opinions from worldly experts, desperately trying to figure out your next move. You are agonizing over your career path, your finances, and the complicated relationships in your family. The world is shouting a million different directions at you, and you feel entirely lost in a thick, suffocating fog of indecision. I am stepping into that fog with you today. I am inviting you to actively train your spiritual senses to clearly distinguish between what is truly good and what is secretly evil. You have been relying entirely too much on your own fragile, limited human logic. Human logic looks at the massive pressure at your job and tells you to compromise your values just to get ahead. Earthly wisdom tells you to look out only for yourself. I command you to completely reject that selfish, earthly logic today. I am calling you to seek the pure, peace-loving wisdom that comes directly from heaven. I know the immense danger of leaning heavily on your own limited understanding. When you trust your own anxious mind, you quickly spiral into deep panic and terrifying fear. Your mind cannot see the hidden traps the enemy has carefully laid out in front of you. But I see every single trap. I see the toxic people who pretend to be your friends. I see the business deals that look shiny on the outside but are rotten on the inside. You must learn the absolute necessity of testing every single spirit, every piece of advice, and every teaching to see if it truly originates from me. Do not just blindly accept whatever the culture tells you is right. Bring every major decision directly to my throne. Ask me to open your spiritual eyes so you can see the hidden reality behind your visible circumstances. I promise that when you ask for my divine wisdom, I will give it to you generously and without finding any fault. I want you to learn to recognize and immediately obey the quiet, inner nudges of my Holy Spirit. I speak to you in the gentle silence. When you are about to send that angry text message to your family member, and you feel a sudden, quiet hesitation in your chest, that is me. When you are sitting in a stressful meeting, and you suddenly feel a strong urge to remain totally silent instead of defending yourself, that is my spirit protecting you. I command you to stop ignoring those gentle nudges. Your immediate obedience to my quiet voice will save you from years of heartbreaking regret. I invite you to consistently make life choices that align perfectly with eternal, heavenly values rather than temporary, worldly gains. When you choose integrity over quick money, you are choosing my path. When you choose peace over winning an argument, you are operating in my high wisdom. Open your spiritual eyes today. Let my bright light burn away the confusing fog and walk confidently in the clear, sharp discernment I have specifically given to you. My precious one, we need to have a very difficult but deeply necessary conversation today. I see the heavy, rotting poison you are carrying inside your chest. I know exactly who hurt you. I saw the painful betrayal by someone you deeply trusted. I watched the coworker who lied to get ahead of you. I see the deep, unresolved tensions with your family members that make holiday gatherings feel like a miserable battlefield. You are holding on to your bitter grudges because you incorrectly think your anger is actively punishing the people who wronged you. I must tell you the undeniable truth today. Your bitter grudge is a lethal, rotting poison that is only injecting sickness into your own soul. You are drinking the deadly poison and waiting for the other person to suffer. I am calling you to immediately drop the poison. I command you to embrace the difficult, supernatural command to forgive others exactly as you have been deeply and totally forgiven by me. You look at your massive wounds and you tell me that it is entirely impossible to forgive them. You tell me that they do not deserve your forgiveness. You are right. They absolutely do not deserve it. But my grace was never based on what people deserve. You did not deserve the massive grace I poured out on you when I wiped your own slate completely clean. I am asking you to release your offenders entirely to my perfect, sovereign, and righteous justice. You are completely exhausting yourself by trying to play the role of the judge and the jury. That heavy gavel does not belong in your tired hands. It belongs securely in mine. I see every single hidden injustice you have suffered, and I promise you that I will balance the scales. But you must step completely out of the judgment seat so I can step in. I invite you to access the supernatural, overwhelming strength required to bless those who actively curse you. When the enemy expects you to violently retaliate with harsh words, I command you to respond with shocking, unexplainable grace. This is how you win the spiritual battle. Every time you choose to bless someone who hurt you, you actively break the dark, heavy chains they have wrapped around your mind. I am calling you to actively tear down the massive, dividing walls of hostility, deep offense, and bitter division in your life. Do not let the sun go down while you are still holding onto your fiery rage. Forgiveness is not a warm, fuzzy feeling. It is a firm, daily decision to completely cancel the debt they owe you. I want you to become a powerful, shining instrument for the miraculous healing of fractured human relationships. When you finally release the heavy burden of bitterness, you will feel a massive physical weight literally lift off your tired shoulders. Open your tightly clenched fists today. Let the toxic bitterness drain completely out of your soul, and let my pure, refreshing river of peace flood into your newly cleansed heart. My child, I watch you desperately chasing after temporary, fleeting happiness every single day. You think that if you finally get that promotion at your job, you will be happy. You believe that if your family dynamics instantly fix themselves, your sadness will disappear. You constantly attach your emotional well-being to your shifting, unstable circumstances. I must gently correct this massive misconception today. Circumstantial happiness is like a delicate paper boat placed on a raging, violent river. It will quickly sink the moment the fierce storms of life hit. I am offering you something infinitely stronger and vastly superior. I am offering you the eternal truth that the deep joy of the Lord is, and always will be, your ultimate, unshakable strength. I want you to clearly differentiate between the fragile happiness the world sells and the deep, enduring joy I freely provide. My joy does not depend on a perfectly balanced bank account. My joy does not vanish when you receive a terrifying medical report. My joy is a solid, heavy anchor that keeps your soul completely steady when the whole world around you is violently shaking. I command you to offer the beautiful sacrifice of praising me loudly, even while you are actively walking through the darkest, scariest valley of shadows. It is easy to sing my praises when the sun is shining brightly on your face. But when you lift your hands and genuinely praise me while tears are streaming down your tired cheeks, that creates a massive earthquake in the spiritual realm. The enemy is completely terrified of a believer who can shout for joy in the absolute middle of a dark prison cell. You must understand that a cheerful, joyful heart actually acts as potent, healing medicine for your exhausted soul and your tired body. Your chronic stress and deep sadness are literally breaking down your physical health. You are carrying the heavy weight of the world on your face. I command you to smile today, not a fake, forced smile, but a genuine smile that stems from the absolute certainty that I am in total control. Allow me to completely remove your heavy garment of mourning. I am putting a brand new song of total redemption and powerful praise directly into your mouth. Sing it loudly. Let your unexplainable, radiant joy serve as a blazing, bright beacon to a sorrowful, desperate, watching world. When your coworkers see you smiling with genuine peace in the middle of a massive corporate crisis, they will instantly know there is something supernatural living inside of you. Your pure joy will become the most powerful, undeniable testimony of my deep love. Stop waiting for your difficult circumstances to change before you decide to rejoice. Choose my eternal joy right now, in this exact moment, and watch how it radically transforms your entire perspective on life. My beloved, I see how completely and totally exhausted you are. You wake up tired, you walk through your entire day tired, and you go to bed tired. You live in a harsh, demanding culture that praises chronic busyness and loudly worships the endless hustle. You actually feel deeply guilty when you sit down for 5 minutes to simply catch your breath. You check your work emails at midnight, terrified that if you disconnect, everything will completely fall apart. I am stepping in front of your endless treadmill today, and I am telling you to stop running. I command you to receive the sacred Sabbath not as a restrictive, boring religious burden, but as a deeply necessary, life-giving gift specifically designed for your survival. You were never created to run at maximum speed without stopping. I did not design your physical or spiritual body to constantly operate on complete empty. I am calling you to the absolute necessity of ceasing from your physical and mental labors to simply remember that I am the Almighty God, and you are not. When you refuse to rest, you are silently acting as if the entire universe totally depends on your constant, frantic effort. I want you to recognize the immense, lethal spiritual danger of this societal hustle. It is actively drowning out my quiet voice. It is turning you into a stressed, angry, and impatient person with the family who desperately needs your loving presence. You are giving your absolute best energy to your stressful job and bringing home nothing but toxic, empty fumes to your loved ones. I invite you to find profound, deep mental and physical restoration in intentional silence and quiet solitude. Turn off the bright screens. Put away the endless to-do lists. Sit outside, look at the beautiful sky I painted for you, and simply breathe in my presence. You must aggressively recharge your own spiritual well, because if you are completely dry, you have absolutely nothing left to pour out to others. You cannot pour life-giving water from a completely shattered, empty cup. I give you the absolute, unshakable permission to rest your mind today. Rest your tired hands. Rest your weary soul. I need you to completely and totally trust that I am sovereignly, actively working on your behalf, even while you are deeply asleep. When you finally close your heavy eyes at night, I do not go to sleep. I take the night shift. I am fighting the fierce spiritual battles you cannot see. I am orchestrating the massive breakthroughs you have been desperately praying for. You do not have to forcefully push every single heavy boulder up the mountain by yourself. Let go of your heavy burdens right now. Sink deeply into the soft, comforting arms of your Heavenly Father. Accept the holy discipline of rest today, and watch how I beautifully multiply the limited hours of your day when you finally choose to trust me with your time. As you sink deeply into my holy rest, remember that the treasure inside you was never meant to be hidden, but to flow out like a roaring river of life. I am asking you to join my hands today, so we can carry this divine restoration to the spiritually exhausted souls who are running on complete empty. Your willing sacrifice is the pure, fragrant oil that keeps the lamps burning brightly in the darkest corners of this hurting world. I have promised that if you give, it will be given back to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap. Do not wait for tomorrow, for the harvest is massively ripe right now, and your immediate action will permanently echo into eternity. When you support this mission today by giving a super thanks, joining as a member, or using the PayPal link in the description, I declare a supernatural multiplication over your own home, an unshakable favor upon your labor. Rise up, release your generous seed immediately, and let us awaken the sleeping world together. My beautifully chosen child, do not let the loud, lying world snatch your fragile attention away in these final, fleeting moments. We are standing on the very edge of your promised land. It would deeply, agonizingly disappoint my heart to watch you stop walking when the absolute greatest blessing of your entire life is just one single step ahead. Listen, listen, listen to me. Do not disconnect your heart now when I am pouring out my glory. Stay firmly anchored to my voice, for the final, unbreakable seal of your eternal destiny is about to be spoken. My precious child, I want to closely examine the deep roots and the visible branches of your life today. You often pray for me to radically change your external circumstances, but I am entirely focused on radically changing your internal character. I want you to understand the undeniable, absolute law of nature and spirit. A good, healthy tree simply cannot bear bad, rotten fruit, and a diseased tree cannot bear good fruit. I watch how you react when the massive pressure at your job boils over. I see the angry, impatient words that easily snap out of your mouth when your children interrupt you. I am telling you today that those angry reactions are the bad fruit of a tired, disconnected spirit. I am calling you to a much higher, more beautiful standard. I want your life to provide clear, undeniable evidence of my Holy Spirit dwelling richly within you through authentic love, deep joy, unshakable peace, and incredible patience. I know you become deeply frustrated with yourself because you want instant, overnight spiritual perfection. You want to pray one single prayer and suddenly become completely patient and totally fearless. But I am asking you to deeply trust the slow, gradual, but absolutely certain ripening of your spiritual character. A massive, strong oak tree does not grow overnight. It takes years of deep rooting and weathering fierce storms to become strong. You are my beautiful garden, and I am the master gardener. You must be willing to endure the painful, sharp pruning of the dead branches in your life so that you may bear even more glorious fruit. When I remove a toxic relationship from your life, or when I close a door on a career path you desperately wanted, do not scream in anger. That is just my gentle pruning shears cutting away the things that are actively draining your spiritual life. I invite you to step into the magnetic, undeniable attractiveness of a life lived in authentic righteousness and total integrity. The dark, desperate world does not need more loud hypocrites who speak beautiful, religious words but live angry, selfish lives. The world desperately needs to see the real, tangible fruit of my love hanging brightly on the branches of your life. When you show radical kindness to the coworker who constantly undermines you, you are dropping sweet fruit into a starving world. When you choose absolute honesty in your finances, even when it costs you money, your integrity shines like a massive, blinding spotlight. I command you to ensure that your daily, ordinary actions, your quiet words, and your secret thoughts bring ultimate, total glory to me, your Heavenly Father. Let my Holy Spirit constantly flow through your veins like rich, life-giving sap. Stay firmly attached to Jesus, the true vine, and I absolutely guarantee that your transformed life will produce a massive, beautiful harvest that will completely outlast your time on this earth. My beloved child, I want to talk to you about the difficult, daily choices you make when absolutely no one else is watching. I see you sitting at your desk, feeling the heavy, crushing pressure to cut corners just to keep up with the frantic pace of your workplace. I watch the silent internal struggle when a conversation with your friends turns into toxic gossip, and you feel the intense, burning pressure to simply nod along so you are not rejected. You live in a culture that passionately praises compromise and loudly mocks conviction. But I am calling you to step entirely off that wide, crowded highway of cultural compromise. I am inviting you to step onto the narrow, courageous path of total obedience. I must tell you a foundational, eternal truth today. A heart of pure obedience is infinitely better and vastly more precious to me than any religious sacrifice you could ever offer. You cannot simply sing loud songs to me on Sunday and then actively ignore my clear voice on Monday. I do not want your empty religious rituals. I want your fully surrendered heart. I command you to take up your heavy cross every single morning and follow directly in the difficult, beautiful steps of my Son. This is not a casual, comfortable stroll. This is a daily, challenging commitment to actively crucify your own selfish desires, your desperate need for worldly approval, and your fierce demand to be right all the time. When your obedience to my word costs you a promotion, a relationship, or your social standing, stand incredibly firm in your holy convictions. Do not retreat into the shadows. Do not water down my eternal truth just to make the dark world feel more comfortable around you. I give you the absolute, unbreakable promise that abundant, overflowing blessing always powerfully follows the deliberate choice to do my will. The world may completely misunderstand you, and your friends may walk away, but you will have the fierce, protective presence of the Almighty God standing right beside you. I want you to discover the immense, profound, and unexplainable joy of aligning your daily, ordinary steps entirely with my commandments. There is a deep, settling peace that instantly washes over your tired soul when you finally stop fighting my will and simply say, "Yes, Lord." When I gently nudge you to apologize to your spouse when you know you were wrong, do not let bitter pride hold your tongue. Obey me immediately. When I tell you to be wildly generous with your finances even when your own budget feels terrifyingly tight, do not let fear close your hands. You boldly. I command you to be an active, courageous doer of the word, and not merely a passive, forgetful hearer. Hearing a truth will never transform your life. Only walking in the truth brings true freedom. Step out in bold obedience today. Trust that even when my commands completely contradict your human logic, my path is the only road that ultimately leads to abundant, everlasting life. You are a brave warrior, and I am calling you to walk like one. My precious one, I need you to lift your eyes from your own heavy struggles for just a moment and look closely at the completely shattered world surrounding you. I see the difficult neighbor you actively avoid speaking to. I see the estranged family member who deeply tests your patience and severely drains your emotional energy. I watch you scroll through the news, feeling nothing but intense anger and bitter division toward people who think differently than you do. The world desperately wants you to build massive, impenetrable walls to protect yourself from these people. The culture actively trains you to view them as your ultimate enemies. But I am stepping into your perspective today to completely shatter that toxic mindset. I command you to realize your incredibly high, sacred calling as my chosen, fully appointed ambassador in this broken, dying world. You are my personal representative, completely authorized to speak on my behalf. I am calling you to become a courageous, tireless bridge builder of grace, rather than a harsh constructor of judgmental walls. You are carrying the most desperate, urgent message of saving grace to a world that is incredibly lost, profoundly lonely, and actively hurting. The angry coworker who constantly undermines you is not your real enemy. They are a deeply broken soul desperately crying out for validation. The family member who constantly starts bitter arguments is secretly terrified of being abandoned. I command you to completely change your lenses today. Learn to see every single difficult, frustrating person around you directly through my own eyes of deep, overwhelming compassion. When they project their toxic pain onto you, do not aggressively throw their pain right back at them. Absorb it with my grace. I invite you to step into the incredible, unmatched honor of leading a wandering, lost, and bleeding sheep safely back into my loving fold. You must wake up to the sobering, massive reality that your radically transformed life may be the absolute only Bible some of these people will ever read. They are not going to walk into a church building, and they are not going to listen to a sermon, but they are closely, silently watching you. They are watching how you handle extreme financial stress without entirely losing your mind. They are watching how you treat the weary cashier at the grocery store. They are watching how you speak about the people who actively betray you. I command you to let your life be a loud, undeniable, walking testimony of my perfect love. Do not let your pride stop you from reaching out to the broken. When you extend your hands to heal the sick, feed the hungry, and forgive the guilty, you are literally bringing my heavenly kingdom down to this dusty earth. Accept this ministry of reconciliation today. Let me use your entirely transformed heart to miraculously heal the deep, bleeding fractures in human relationships everywhere you go. My child, I watch you frantically building your life on this earth as if you are going to live here permanently. I see you obsessing over your retirement accounts, constantly worrying about accumulating more material wealth, and completely exhausting yourself to build a tiny, fragile earthly empire. You spend so much of your precious, limited energy fiercely protecting your possessions and upbraiding your comfort. But I must gently wake you up from this temporary, worldly illusion today. I am firmly reminding you that you are merely a pilgrim, a weary traveler rapidly passing through this fading earth. You do not belong to this broken system. You are an eternal, fully documented citizen of heaven. I command you to start living every single day with the massive, breathtaking reality of eternity firmly and permanently stamped upon your eyes. I am calling you to completely shift your ultimate focus right now. Why are you tirelessly building fragile sandcastles right next to the crashing waves of the ocean, only to watch the tide violently wash them away tomorrow? Stop pouring your entire life into temporary things that rust, decay, and lose their value. I command you to actively, purposefully store up your true, lasting treasures in heaven, where no moth can destroy them, no rust can corrupt them, and no thief can ever break in and steal them. Every single time you choose radical generosity over selfish hoarding, you are sending treasure ahead. Every time you show deep mercy instead of exacting harsh vengeance, you are building your eternal portfolio. I want you to feel the deep, spiritual urgency of the massive harvest in these final, fleeting, and darkening days. The clock is rapidly ticking, and there are so many broken souls who desperately need to hear the truth before the day completely ends. I invite you to hold incredibly fast to the blessed, glorious, and absolutely certain hope of the imminent return of Jesus Christ. When the heavy news of the world makes you feel entirely hopeless, when the sickness in your body makes you feel completely defeated, lift your tired head high. This agonizing pain is not the end of your story. The dark, terrifying night is almost entirely over, and the brilliant, blinding dawn is rapidly approaching. You have a sacred, beautiful duty to actively prepare yourself, the radiant bride, for the triumphant, world-shaking return of your heavenly bridegroom. Do not let the sudden arrival of that day catch you sleeping, distracted, or entirely consumed by your worldly anxieties. Wake up. Shake off the heavy slumber of complacency. Live today with burning purpose, fierce love, and unshakable expectation. You are heading toward a permanent, glorious home, and the incredible joy that is waiting for you there will completely erase every single tear you have ever cried on this earth. My beloved, beautiful child, we have reached the end of this profound, intimate conversation, but this is only the very beginning of your entirely new life. I want to leave you with a final, resounding, and completely unbreakable reminder of the unfathomable, priceless treasure that is now permanently residing deep within your chest. You are not the exact same broken, anxious, and defeated person who first sat down to listen to my voice. The heavy, suffocating chains of dread have been violently shattered. The bitter, rotting poison of your past has been completely drained away. I have placed my own brilliant, blazing light directly inside your spirit, and the terrifying darkness of the enemy has no choice but to permanently flee from you. I give you the ironclad, eternal promise today that I, the Almighty Creator who carefully began this good, miraculous work inside of you, will absolutely carry it on to beautiful, perfect completion. I do not abandon my masterpieces halfway through. I command you to step boldly, confidently, and without a single moment of hesitation into your brand new, radiant, divine identity starting right now. Do not ever look back at the dark, comfortable prison cell I just rescued you from. Do not let the familiar, toxic voices of your old insecurities try to call you back into the shadows. You belong entirely and completely to me. I give you the absolute, eternal, and totally unshakable assurance that absolutely nothing in all of creation can ever separate you from my fierce, consuming love. Your massive mountain of debt cannot separate us. The painful divorce or the loss of your job cannot separate us. Sickness, disease, and even death itself have absolutely no power to sever the heavy, eternal seal I have permanently placed upon your soul. I have gripped your hand, and my grip is infinitely stronger than your failures. Rise up, my precious one. I am speaking a divine, authoritative command directly over your life. Rise up and shine brilliantly, for your long-awaited light has finally, undeniably come. The thick, heavy glory of the Lord has powerfully risen upon you today. Walk out of this room differently than you walked in. Go to your stressful job tomorrow with your head held incredibly high, fully armed with my unshakable peace. Walk into your complicated family home carrying the powerful, restorative atmosphere of heaven itself. Let the entire, watching world see the undeniable, miraculous fruit of a life completely surrendered to the living God. Keep walking courageously, keep fighting fiercely, and keep loving radically. And never, ever forget the ultimate promise. At the very end of your long, difficult, and beautiful journey, there is an eternal, loving, and completely overwhelming embrace waiting for you directly in my arms. I love you with an everlasting love. Go now, and live entirely in my freedom. You now know that what is inside you can change your life forever, but this glorious, blazing light must now be carried to a world trapped in absolute darkness. I am personally calling you to help me cast this saving net wide, pulling lost and broken hearts out of the freezing waters of despair. Every seed you plant today becomes heavenly manna for a starving generation, turning a barren spiritual desert into a thriving, beautiful garden. Truly, I tell you, store up your treasures in heaven where no thief can steal them, for where your treasure is, there your transformed heart will permanently remain. This is your urgent, divine moment to step off the sidelines and actively fund the unstoppable advancement of my eternal kingdom. As you bravely give through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, I will shower you with boundless grace, total financial breakthrough, and generational blessings. Obey my voice, plant your powerful seed right now, and become the miracle someone else is desperately praying for. Amen.